dramatized stories of crime and the events leading up to the capture of the perpetrator are the order of the day on True Detective Mysteries. These stories are based on actual police file cases and have an air of authenticity seldom captured by a crime program. So, for the best in mystery listening, make a date to tune in True Detective Mysteries every Sunday over most of these stations.
This program was transcribed especially for presentation to the West Coast audience at this hour. Listen again next week at this same time for Mysterious Traveler. And stay tuned now for Let George Do It, heard over most of these same stations. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Coben, and starring two of radio's foremost actors, Lawson Zerbe and Frank Silvera, in Hideout.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we follow the course of a strange friendship to a startling end. It's the story I call Hideout. As we begin our story of a friendship that even murder could not destroy, the time is midnight. Somewhere nearby, a tower clock is striking the hour. In the shadows at the mouth of an alley in New York's East Side, a boy is crouching, tense, frightened. Down the deserted street approaches a man, stocky, powerfully built, expensively dressed. As he passes the mouth of the alley, the boy leaps out behind him.
All right, mister. Stick 'em up and don't move.
Okay. Just take it easy, whoever you are. I never argue with a gun.
You better not. Now give me your dough.
Yeah, sure. It's in my inside coat pocket. I'll get it out for you and... Take that. Stick me up, will you? I ought to plug you. Come on, stand up. Let me see what you look like.
Don't shoot me. I wasn't going to hurt you, honest.
Why, it's just a kid, a runt, and trying to hold up Big Ed Jansky himself. You got a lot of nerve, kid. What's your name?
What do you care what my name is? Go on, call a cop.
You? Oh. I said, what's your name?
It's Maxie.
Maxie what?
Just Maxie. Sometimes the kids call me ugly because I ain't so good looking, see?
I'll say you ain't. Where you from, Maxie?
Philly.
Run away from home, huh?
That's my business.
You want another slap? So you try to become a stick-up man, huh? What else can you do besides stick-up?
Well, I can drive any kind of car. I had a parking lot job once.
Drive a car, huh? Well, Maxie, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I could turn you over to the cops, but I won't. I like your spirit, and I'm going to give you a job instead.
What kind of job?
You'll be my chauffeur. Most people try to get good-looking chauffeurs, but Big Ed Jansky's going to have the ugliest one anybody ever saw.
Gee. Do you really mean it, Mr. Jansky?
Sure, I mean it. Now, come on. You'll stay at my place tonight.
You're not just kidding me, are you?
Nah, I'm not kidding you. But don't ever forget this. You double-cross me, and I'll break every bone in your body. You stick by me, and you're my friend. And I look after my friends.
Gee, Mr. Jansky.
Now, what are you sniveling for?
Oh, it's because Because except for my brother, I never had a friend before in my life, Mr. Jansky.
So Maxie, the kid from Philadelphia, became Big Ed Jansky's private chauffeur. But he kept hoping Big Ed would let him be a full-fledged member of the mob. But Big Ed laughed, told him to wait a while. Until one night when Maxie was driving Big Ed home from a late business conference.
Hey, Maxie. Maxie.
Yeah, what is it, Mr.
Slow
Jansky?
down a little. You must be doing 70.
No, just 68. I guess I forgot again that you don't like to go fast.
50's fast enough for anybody, except on a getaway.
Oh, sure, Mr. Jansky. Gee, I wish you'd let me drive the getaway car sometime. I bet if I'd been on that hijack last week, Mike and little Willie wouldn't have smashed themselves up dead.
The cop shot out a tire. You can't do anything about that when you're hitting 80.
Oh, you can if you know how, Mr. Ed. I guess I'm sort of dumb about other things, but I sure do know how to drive.
Well, maybe someday I'll let you try your hand and... Hey, Maxie,
Yeah, Mr. Ed?
that black sedan. How long's it been following us?
Oh, about 10 minutes, I guess.
I don't like it. Step on it, kid.
You bet, Mr. Ed.
Plenty lonely along here, and... Hey, they're pulling up on us. Step on it, will you, Maxie? Step on it.
Gee, Mr. Ed, there's something wrong with the motor. I can't get more than 75 out of her.
That's not good enough. They're pulling up fast, and... There, I knocked the rear window out. Now, hold her steady, kid. Give me a chance to aim.
I'll hold her, Mr. Ed.
I got a headlight. That's all. They're still pulling up. Maxie, can't you get more speed out of this boat?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ed. I just can't get her over 75.
And you said you could drive. We'll be dead pigeons in another minute. That's a Tommy gun.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Ed. What is it, Mr. Ed?
Hey, they got me, kid. On the shoulder. I can't use my gun anymore. They're pulling up fast, Maxie. Maxie, you've sold us out. You're slowing down on purpose so they can catch us.
No, really, I'm not, Mr. Ed.
You're lying. If I could use my gun, I'd plug you. You're going to stop the car and let them get me.
Oh, no, you watch. They're right behind. They're going to try to pass and then stop us. Now hold tight and watch out.
Maxie, you swerved into them. Turned them over. They went into a telephone pole.
Yeah, that's a trick. If you swerve just the right second against the front wheels, you can do it every time and not be hurt yourself.
Maxie, you're promoted, kid. From now on, you're the mob's official driver.
Oh, gee, Mr. Ed. Gee, I don't know what to say.
And I thought you was double-crossing me back there.
Oh, I wouldn't double-cross you ever, Mr. Ed. You're my friend.
And so, the odd friendship between the big shot gang leader and the strange little man whose only talent was his uncanny ability at the wheel of a car went on year after year. The Prohibition ended. Big Ed Jansky moved on to the protection racket. From there, he went on to other illegal but profitable enterprises, always apparently immune to the law, until at last came the day when things were abruptly changed.
Wait a minute, Counselor. Are you trying to tell me that they can make this charge stick? That maybe they can send me to jail?
I'm afraid they can, Jansky. Now, this is a federal indictment. You know how tough the feds are.
But income tax. Who ever heard of a guy getting sent to jail for not paying his income tax?
They sent Al Capone away on a similar indictment, Jansky. You'd have heard about it if you hadn't been in Europe.
Well, you should have warned me. It's your fault.
You retained me too late, Jansky. Look, the Special Department of Justice prosecutor is coming here this afternoon. I'm going to try to make a deal for you to pay your back taxes. His name's Tom Nelson. He's just a kid. And an offer of $2 million will interest him enough so he won't mind saving the government the trouble of a trial.
$2 million? Why, that's every cent I got.
If they convict you, they'll take it away anyway. Don't worry. Even if worse comes to worse, I think I can get you off with 6 months.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Maxie.
You sent for me, Mr. Ed?
Yeah. Sit down, kid. How long you been with me, Maxie? 13 years?
12 years, 6 months, and 3 days. Since the night you said you'd be my friend. If I stuck by you.
You practically got it right down to the minute, haven't you?
Ah, yeah. I couldn't ever forget it.
Well, you've been with me longer than anybody else, kid. Maybe somebody might come around wanting to ask you questions.
Who, Mr. Ed?
This special federal prosecutor. You know, the one they appointed a while back, Tom Nelson. You know about him?
Oh, yeah, I do. His name's been in the paper lots lately. I read every word.
Well, he's trying to send me to Atlanta. Me, Big Ed Jansky, just because I didn't pay income tax. You know, I got a notion to send a rod to bump off this Nelson, just to teach them all a lesson.
Oh, no, Mr. Ed.
No, what?
Oh, you mustn't have him shot. Then everything would be spoiled.
I don't get you, Maxie.
Well, I mean, they might catch you and make you burn in the electric chair.
If they could prove anything. You know, you're right, kid. It wouldn't do any good just to bump off one of them, would it? Anyway, this is the idea. You know a lot about me. And now I know I can trust you.
Sure, you can trust me. We're friends.
Yeah, but you're not very bright, kid. And this Nelson is. You know, he might learn things from you without your knowing it. So I want you to stay out of sight until after the trial.
Anything you say, Mr. Ed.
You remember that farm I bought up in Vermont?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Well, you take the little car and drive up there tonight. There's plenty of canned stuff in the cellar. You stay hid there until I send for you. I'll be in the clear again in a month or two. Even if they tag me, it'll only be for 6 months.
I'll do just what you say, Mr. Ed. You can trust me for anything.
But Big Ed Jansky's days of immunity were over, and the end of his trial made big headlines in the newspapers. But eventually, the news reached even the isolated farm where Maxie waited anxiously. He slowly read the news that told how his boss had been stunned by a 10 to 15-year sentence in Atlanta Penitentiary. How, raging like a maniac, he had leaped at the throat of the special prosecutor, Tom Nelson, screaming that he would kill him if it was his last act. How the guards had pulled him away, handcuffed him, and carried him out of the courtroom, still shouting threats. But when he had finished, Maxie put the paper down, shook his head.
Gee, I'm glad he didn't hurt Mr. Nelson. If they put poor Mr. Ed in jail, I gotta go see him. Right away. Gee, Mr. Ed, they say you'll be here 10 years, maybe. What'll I do all that time? That's a lot of years.
Yeah, for Pete's sakes, don't start sniffling, Maxie. Yeah, it's a lot of years. And it's that Nelson who's done it to me. He could have gone easy. He was trying to make a name for himself at my expense. Just wait till I get out. He'll have a name, all right. It'll be mud.
What'll you do?
I'll plug him, that's what. I told him so in court, and I meant it.
Oh, no, Mr. Ed, please. If you kill him, they'll make you sit on the electric chair.
When I say a thing, I mean it. Now tell me, what are you doing now that the gang's all scattered?
Well, I got a job, Mr. Ed. I had to get one when I got back to the city and my money was all gone.
A job? Who'd give you a job?
Well, it's a night watchman job. Nobody else wanted it. You remember that big apartment house on Riverside Drive? The great big one that never got finished because the builders went broke?
Yeah. I know the one. The Outlook House. 40 floors high and never finished inside.
Well, it's so lonely and gloomy and so full of rats. Nobody wants to be night watchman, so they gave me the job.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Yeah, Mr. Ed?
About 8 years from now, figuring time off for good behavior, I'm getting out of here. And when I do, I'll need a friend.
Oh, I'll always be your friend.
Yeah, I know. So listen. I don't want you to come here again. I don't want you to write. I don't want anybody to know that you know me.
You don't?
No. Because after I leave stir and do what I've said I'm gonna do, I'll need a hideout. So you hang on to that night watchman job, see, Maxie?
Sure, Mr. Ed.
And when the night comes that I knock on the door, you have a hiding place all ready for me, understand?
Uh-huh.
Have a hideout where the cops will never find Big Ed Jansky.
So the years slipped away, and Maxie, older now, a curious, stooped figure, never spoke to anyone unless he was spoken to first. He went about his rounds as night watchman in the still, empty, and unfinished Outlook House, 40 stories high, with 500 empty, echoing rooms where the rats squeaked and scampered. Finally, the day came. Big Ed Jansky was released, forgotten by everyone, except Maxie. Now Big Ed Jansky had made a promise. He hadn't forgotten it. So the evening of his return to the city, he was waiting in a darkened room for the door to open and admit the man he had sworn to kill.
Hello, Nelson.
Jansky.
Yeah, Jansky. 8 years later. Maybe you'd forgotten all about me, huh? Maybe you'd forgotten about my promise.
Put away that gun, Jansky.
Maybe you forgot, Nelson, but I didn't. 8 years I've been in the pen, and every minute of that time your name's been eaten away at me because you were still alive. I'm fixing that right now.
Jansky, you can't get away with it.
This'll prove who's right, me or you. Take it, Nelson.
Again, the name of Big Ed Jansky was in the papers in big black headlines. Special prosecutor killed. Police hunt released convict in murder of crime fighter. And as the headlines blazed their news, Maxie shuffled through the empty corridors of the Outlook House, making his rounds.
Well, that's the last station for this round. So I guess we better go down and see if Mr. Ed's come yet. Come on, Gray Whiskers. Yeah, you don't know Mr. Ed Gray Whiskers, but he's my friend. He's the only friend I ever had. Now, we'll go downstairs to the back door and wait for him. He may get here any minute now. You remember? I told you lots about Mr. Ed, just like I told you about Pop and Mom and my kid brother and how good he's been doing since he got out of college. Sure, I knew you remembered. Well, Mr. Ed is coming here to hide out from the police. You know, he killed somebody, so he has to hide out or they'll catch him and they put him in the electric chair. We're friends, so I have to help him. I wish he hadn't done it, though. I do wish he hadn't. Oh, there he is now. He's here.
Maxie!
I'm coming, Mr. Ed. I'm coming.
Maxie!
Here I am, Mr. Ed. Come in, Mr. Ed, quick, huh?
All right, I'm in. Get the door shut.
All right.
That's better. Well, Maxie, here I am at last. Aren't you going to say hello? That is, I surprise you too much.
Oh, no, Mr. Ed. I read about it in the papers.
Then you knew I'd be around. Well, what about it? You got a hideout fixed up for me?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Ed, but... Gee, I wish I hadn't done it.
Don't start that now. Nelson had it coming to him, and he got it. Just show me to the hideout. The cops are after me. But if I can lay low for a week, I'll be free as air. I got pals to prove I was in Chicago the whole time.
All right, Mr. Ed.
Hey, are we alone here in this 40-story joint?
All alone. It's just you and me and 500 empty rooms. Just follow after me now, and I'll show you the hideout I got fixed up.
Hey, what a joint. A grave would be cozier.
Here we are now.
Here? Where are we now?
Down in the sub-basement.
It's colder and damper than an icebox.
We're 50 feet underground.
Being buried would be more cheerful. What are those things over there?
Oh, just the auxiliary furnaces.
What do you mean, auxiliary?
Just for emergencies. This building is supposed to get steam and electric from the steam and electric company, see? Well, these furnaces are only in case something breaks down. Then the building can make its own steam and electric.
Well, where's the hideout? You don't expect me to hide in a furnace, do you?
Oh, no. Right here, see? Now, these are the doors to the coal bin. They wind up like this. There. Now we can duck underneath and get inside. Just follow me now. Now we're inside the coal bin. I brought down some blankets and a lantern for you. There they are. Ain't it a swell hideout, huh? Huh?
A concrete coal bin. It's big enough, but no windows, no doors except that one. I'd rather be in solitary.
Yeah, but nobody will ever find you. That's what's important.
Yeah, I suppose so, but what's that?
It's only the rats. There. See, Gray Whiskers is chasing them away. Gray Whiskers is my cat. He follows me around every place I go. Oh, he's very smart. I tell him about you and about my pop and Mom and how good my kid brother's been going and stuff like that.
I don't care what you talk to him about. You know, you never were very bright, Maxie, and you're getting dumber all the time.
Gee, Mr. Ed, you mean you don't like
No, I don't like the hideout. A coal bin 50 feet underground. I'll stay here, but only until after the heat goes off, and no longer.
I understand, Mr. Ed. See, that's why I keep wishing you hadn't killed Tom Nelson. Then this wouldn't be necessary.
It's done, and nothing's going to undo it.
Well, I got to be getting back to my rounds now. If I'm late punching in, it'll show on the clock, and they'll wonder why. They might get to snooping around.
Yeah, that's right. For rounds or no rounds, I want some stuff. I want grub and magazines and some rye and cigarettes. You'll hustle them down here first chance you get, see?
Yeah, sure. I have a dandy idea for that. Hey, you see that hole up there in the ceiling?
Yeah, right over us. What about it?
Well, it goes up to a manhole in the courtyard out back of the building.
What of it?
Why, instead of coming down to bring you food and stuff, I'll just lift that manhole and let the stuff down on a string. It'll save lots of time. And if anybody should come snooping around, I won't ever have to come near the basement.
I get it. Hey, you're not quite as stupid as I thought.
Yeah, I figured you'd see how smart it is. Now, I'll go outside and crank the door down, and nobody will ever know you're here.
Hey, you leave that door like it is. It's going to stay open, see?
Yeah, but if the cops come around looking for you, they'll know right away you're here if the door's open.
Oh, the devil. All right, close the door.
So long, Mr. Ed.
And don't forget the grub.
No, I won't. There. I've closed it all but an inch. I'll get your stuff at midnight, Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed! Oh, Mr. Ed!
That's you, Maxie.
I got your stuff, Mr. Ed.
It's about time.
I'm letting it down on a string.
Okay, let it come.
Here it is, Mr. Ed. Can you reach it yet?
No, not yet. Keep it coming.
Well, I let out all the string. Can you reach it now?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, Maxie.
I gotta go now, Mr. Ed. There's a truck just arrived with a delivery.
Hey, you there. You the watchman?
Yeah, that's me.
Where does this load go?
Back around right over here, huh?
That got it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we gotta make this snappy. There's another load of coal coming right after me, and they'll keep coming until daylight. We gotta finish delivery before the daytime traffic starts.
Yeah, I understand. I got the manhole open for you.
Oh, good. All right, now we'll put the coal chute in place. There. That's got it. Now to crank up the body and let old man Gravity do his stuff.
golly. This is a spooky place.
It is kind of.
Yeah, it'd drive me nuts to hang around here every night.
I don't mind it. I'm kind of sorry they're finishing it off.
Say, didn't that sound like a scream then?
Well, it did, sort of.
Yeah, shows you what a joint like this can do to a man's nerves. Makes him hear screams and stuff like that. So they're finishing the Outlook house at last, huh?
Yeah, in a month, people will be moving in.
Well, the coal bins will be full. 200 tons.
That's bin number 5 you're filling now.
By morning, it'll have 40 tons in it.
Yeah. And maybe the coal won't ever be used.
How's that?
Well, it's just for the auxiliary furnaces. They won't ever use it unless the steam and electric from the regular companies goes on.
So they won't even open the bins until the heat goes off, huh?
And that might be nervous.
Well, that's one load. Got to make room for the next one. I'll be back, though. And hope I don't hear any more screams.
I don't guess you will.
I bet you one thing, though.
Why?
This building's been empty so long, I'll bet you when people start living in it, they'll find it's picked up a ghost.
Is that you, Gray Whiskers? Hey, what's the matter? You ought to be in bed. It's almost morning now, and all the coal bins are full up. Bin number 5 is full to the top. And Mr. Ed is down underneath 40 tons of coal, where the police won't ever find him. He was my friend. The only friend I ever had. I had to help him hide out when the cops were after him, didn't I? But I wish it could have been different. If only Mr. Ed hadn't shot Tom Nelson. Because what I couldn't tell him, what I didn't ever want anybody to know, was that Tom Nelson was my kid brother.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Well, that's a real friend for you, that Maxie. He'll help you hide if it kills you. And it probably will. It's a big lesson for Big Ed Jansky, all right. It'll teach him to stay out of coal bins in the future. But don't worry about him. 40 tons of coal will keep him warm for a long time. Oh, that reminds me of another story in which an ambitious young man who, with 2 corpses on his hands, decides that he... you have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler. Now you can enjoy other tense and exciting tales of The Mysterious Traveler in the January issue of The Mysterious Traveler magazine, now available. In our cast were Lawson Zerbe, Frank Silvera, and Sidney Paul, with Maurice Tarplin starred in the title role. Music under the direction of Sylvan Levin, composed by Richard DuPage. The Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Kogan. All characters in our story were fictitious. Any resemblance to names of actual persons was purely coincidental. Phil Tonkin speaking. This program came to you from New York. Pardon us, but your shadow is showing. Yes, your shadow, my shadow, And everyone's shadow is showing over most of these same mutual stations every Sunday, showing outstanding mystery entertainment. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight two of radio's foremost personalities, Eric Dressler and Brett Morrison, in I Died Last Night.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. For tonight, our journey is one such as no living man ever took before. We're going to accompany a gentleman named Gregory Raymond across the very threshold of existence into another world. It's a story I call I Died Last Night. My friend, Mr. Gregory Raymond, who's going to tell you of his strange experience, is a man of middle age with bushy gray hair and the nervous intensity of one who's concentrated his whole life upon a single absorbing interest. As he proceeds with his tale, please overlook the inconsequential fact that he's dead.
My name is Gregory Raymond, and it is perfectly true that all my life I was concentrated upon a single interest, the study of death and what comes after it. Even from boyhood, that one interest absorbed me. I made 1,000 efforts to penetrate the baffling veil that separates life from death, to effect communication with those on the other side of the dark curtain. And in this effort, I had no success until I met that man of great wisdom from the East, the Yogi Krishna. Then I knew I had found the teacher I needed. I studied daily for months with Krishna and his other pupils. I devoted my entire fortune to the project. And we were just on the brink of success when one evening the yogi kept me with him after the others had left.
My friend Gregory, it is necessary that you and I should talk.
Of course, Yogi. You seem troubled.
I am, Gregory. We have come close to success in our studies here, have we not?
Closer than I ever dared hope we would. If now we could only tear away the last veil of ignorance that separates us from the truth. If we could only see through to the other side of the wall of death.
Patience, my friend. Death is a subject that has engrossed man's mind for 1,000,000 years. We cannot expect to solve its dark mysteries in a few months.
No, of course not, but I've spent a lifetime trying, and I suppose I'm a little impatient.
I, too, have spent a lifetime just preparing to make the study. And now that success is in sight, it grieves me to say that we must discontinue our studies.
Discontinue them? Just when we were getting somewhere? Why, no, we can't.
We have no choice.
But why? Why must we stop now when we're so close?
For the simplest reason in the world. We lack the money to continue.
Oh, money. Is that the trouble?
We need trained assistants, scientific instruments, many things to aid us. All this requires money, and we do not have it.
Well, how much?
Many thousands. $100,000, perhaps.
100,000. It's a lot. But we'll get it. We have to.
Alas, my friend, I do not know where.
Listen. My brother, John, is a rich man. He's head of the Raymond Foundation, which makes grants for all kinds of important studies.
Yes, I have heard so.
I'll ask him for the money. For a cause like this, he'll give it to us. I know it.
It would mean everything to us. But suppose he refuses?
He won't refuse. And if he does, I'll get the money from him somehow. I swear it. The next day, I hurried to Hollywood, where John had his home on top of the cliff that looks out over the beach and the ocean beyond. When I reached the house, old Charles, the gardener, told me that John had gone for a walk to his favorite spot, a high point on the cliff that looked far out across the ocean. I hurried there and found him alone, smoking and watching the sunset. Swiftly, I told him why I'd come. And to my amazement, he refused my request.
Gregory, my answer is emphatically no. I will not put up money for any such crackpot scheme.
But, John, you're head of the Raymond Foundation. Father left it millions to carry on research in every field of human welfare.
And you consider this wild notion of yours a field of human welfare?
Well, of course it is. Don't you understand? We're on the very verge of solving the greatest mystery of all, the mystery of death, and what follows it.
Indeed, Gregory.
But it's true. We only need a little more time and money.
Time and money.
And when we've succeeded, when we've definitely established communication with those who have left this sphere of existence, think what that will mean to the world.
Just what will it mean to the world?
Why, it will mean everything. Think of the comfort it'll give mankind, the peace of mind, the tranquility of soul that will result when we know what is to come, what our future life is to be like. Can't you see that?
No, I'm afraid I can't. Old-fashioned faith is good enough for me. Furthermore, there can never be such communication as you're dreaming of. It's impossible.
But it isn't. The Yogi Krishna has already achieved it.
Your yogi, my dear Gregory, is a fake. I've had him looked up. He's nothing but a trickster and a charlatan, running a nice little racket to get money out of deluded fools like you.
That's not true.
I tell you it is. While I live, the Raymond Foundation will never furnish a cent for this fantastic scheme.
No, John, you can't refuse me. You can't.
I do, Gregory. That's final.
I see. I'm sorry you said that, John.
What do you mean?
I see that there's only one thing that I can do.
What the devil are you getting at?
This project must not be allowed to fail. It means so much that the life of one man is a small price to pay for that success.
What nonsense are you talking?
When you're dead, I shall become the head of the Raymond Foundation.
Gregory, get away from me. Take your hands off me.
No, John, you wouldn't listen to reason, so I have no alternative.
Gregory, let go of me. You're pushing me through the cliff, Gregory.
Believe me, John, I don't want to do this, but our studies cannot be allowed to fail.
Gregory, come to your senses. You're out of your mind.
You'll see, John, in just a moment. You'll know that I'm right. No! Far below me, John lay still. I felt a vast pity for him, but I had done the only thing possible. And I was sure that John, wherever he might be then, agreed with me. I returned to the house, broke the sad news that John had had an unfortunate accident, and wired for John's son and daughter, Jack and Susan, who were at college, to fly home at once. The next evening, Jack and Susan arrived, pale and upset. I took them into the library to explain the whole sad occurrence to them.
Uncle Gregory, you say that Father had a dizzy spell and fell over the cliff before you could catch him.
Yes, Jack. It happened so fast I could do nothing.
But Father never got dizzy. His health was perfect.
He was smoking a cigar, Susan. He complained that he felt a little unwell, and a moment later he staggered and was gone. I feel terribly about this, believe me.
You don't look very upset, Uncle Gregory.
Oh, but I am, Jack. But I know that wherever your father is now, he's happier by far than any of us.
Are you sure that's the reason you're so cheerful, Uncle Gregory?
Well, what do you mean by that?
She means the gardener tells a very different story.
The gardener? What's the gardener got to do with it?
He saw you and Father talking at the top of the cliff. He says you were arguing.
Arguing? Well, that's nonsense.
I was just explaining to John my scheme for scientifically attacking the problem of communication with the next world.
Uncle Gregory, the gardener says he doesn't think Father fell.
Then what does he think?
He thinks he saw you push Father off the cliff.
That is utter nonsense. He saw me try to grab John as he was falling, that's all.
I wish I could believe that. But I can't.
Jack, you must. Uncle Gregory couldn't have pushed Father. It just isn't possible.
Of course not, Susan, and I'm glad that you at least realize
I'm
that.
not so sure. He seems awfully pleased about being head of the Raymond Foundation now.
Now listen to me, both of you. The coroner says that your father died accidentally, and that ends matters.
Not for me, it doesn't.
And just what do you think you're going to do, Jack?
I don't know yet. But I'm going to Dad's lawyers and have you declared incompetent to handle the Raymond Foundation.
I warn you, I'll brook no interference. I am head of the foundation, and from now on it will be run as I say.
Not if I can help it.
And the first thing I'm going to do is pour all the resources of the foundation into an institute for the study of death.
Uncle Gregory, you can't mean that. The foundation scientists are on the verge of a cure for cancer, for tuberculosis. You can't stop their work now.
I can and I will.
No, I'm certain you killed Dad. You killed him to get control of the foundation for your crazy schemes.
You get out. Get out. Both of you. Get out.
Jack, catch him.
He swung at me. He lost his balance. I couldn't catch him.
He's lying so still. He hit his head on the fireplace as he fell. It's bleeding. Jack, is he all right?
Just a minute and I'll see.
Jack bent over me. I had lost my temper and in trying to hit him had fallen. And now I lay on the floor, a great pain throbbing in my head and a strange darkness creeping up all around me. As Jack and Susan leaned over me, the darkness closed in and I felt myself drifting away into an unknown land. And just before the darkness became complete, I could hear their words.
Jack, how is he? He doesn't seem to be breathing. Is he dead?
Yes, Susan. All his life, Uncle Gregory has been trying to learn what happens when you die. Well, now, at last, he's going to find out.
How long I lay in vast dark nothingness, I do not know. But at long last, consciousness began to return to me. First, I realized that the sweet, cloying scent of flowers was heavy in my nostrils. Then I opened my eyes. I lay on a couch at one end of a great dim room with windows of stained glass, like a church. And then at the other end of the room, I saw 3 coffins. One of the coffins was banked with flowers, and candles burned at either end of it. Dazed and bewildered, I got to my feet and walked slowly toward them. I reached the side of the one covered with flowers and stared through the small glass plate at the man inside. And then I knew. The body in the coffin was mine.
Oh, you mustn't be so upset, mister. Most of us feel pretty startled at first.
Yes. Joshua and I were upset just as you are, but it will pass soon.
I whirled about and saw 2 dim figures coming toward me from the shadows. They were smiling, and I knew that they were trying to be helpful. Who are you?
I'm Joshua Brown. This is my wife, Nellie. Our bodies are in the other 2 coffins.
Your bodies? I don't understand.
Of course, you're still confused. That's only natural.
Look through the glass in this coffin. That's my body. There, you see?
Yes, it looks just like you.
Yes, of course it is me. The earthly me.
Well, then we're really dead, all 3 of us?
Of course. You died last night. You slipped and fell and hit your head.
Yes, I remember now.
It's taken you until now to become aware of things, to get over the shock.
But where am I?
Oh, this is the mortuary chapel of the cemetery. They'll be coming for you soon to prepare to bury you.
To bury me? No.
Oh, you mustn't be upset. Just to bury the mortal you, the empty shell you've left behind.
Yes. Nellie and I were killed 2 nights ago in an auto accident. But we won't be buried until tomorrow, when our son gets here.
But I never dreamed that it would be like this. Why, I can still see and hear. I still breathe. My heart still beats.
Not really. You're used to those things, so they let you think there hasn't been much change until you get over your first shock. They're very thoughtful.
They? Who do you mean?
The ones in charge. Oh, you'll know more about them soon. Mr. Benedict will be coming for us, and I expect he'll take you along, too.
Who's Mr. Benedict?
He's our guide. He stopped last night to tell us not to worry and to wait for him. He'll take us on to the next place.
Oh, shh. Someone's coming. We must step back here out of the way.
We stepped back a few paces as a door opened. 4 men entered, pushing a carriage on rubber-tired wheels. Behind them came Jack and Susan, dressed in mourning. They advanced toward the coffin that held my mortal body.
All right, men, take it easy now. That's it. All lift together.
They lifted and placed the coffin on the wheeled carriage that they'd brought. And a sudden panic struck me, a sudden fear that made me cry out. Jack! Susan! No, you mustn't. You can't bury me. I'm not dead. I can't be.
Oh, please, you mustn't give way. It's perfectly natural, really it is.
No, let go of me. I've got to make them understand that I'm not really dead. Let go of me. Jack! Susan!
Please, you mustn't distress yourself. You see, they can't hear you.
It was true. None of them so much as turned. The 4 men wheeled my coffin out. Jack and Susan followed, and the door closed. I was alone again with the Browns. They didn't hear me. They didn't pay any attention to me.
It was impossible for them to hear you. We cannot communicate with the living, nor they with us.
But it must be possible.
I'm sorry, but really it isn't. Mr. Benedict said so.
But all my life I've worked to establish such communication, and now I have so much to tell the world. The people that I've worked with, Yogi Krishna, I must tell them all this. I must reach them somehow.
But if it is possible, Mr. Benedict will tell you, I'm sure. Now, please, the only thing we can do is be quiet and wait for him.
Stunned, I sank into a chair. There was no doubt about it. I had died last night, and this was what came after. But I knew the Browns were wrong. There was some way to reach the ones that I'd left behind. I knew. The yogi had proved it to me. And so I waited for Mr. Benedict. I don't know how long it was, but suddenly a strange musical note sang in my ears. I looked up. A shaft of white light shone directly down into the center of the room, and in it stood a tall figure hidden in a flowing robe. The light winked out, and the figure strode toward us.
Are you ready, Mr. and Mrs. Brown?
Yes, Mr. Benedict. Oh, Mr. Raymond, this is Mr. Benedict. He's come for us now.
Yes, it is time. We must go.
But I can't go yet. I've got to tell people, the people that I've worked with. We've worked so hard to find out the truth, and now...
It may not be. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, it is time.
Sure, Mr. Benedict, we're ready. But Mr. Raymond is coming with us, isn't he?
He is not coming.
Not coming? But why, Mr. Benedict?
He is doomed to remain here on Earth for all eternity.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
This is your punishment. To remain forever a spirit that moves unseen and unheard among men.
But why is he being punished, Mr. Benedict?
He knows. That is sufficient. Now come, we must go.
No, wait. You've got to take me with you. But they didn't wait. They took a step, 2 steps, and were gone. Where they'd vanished, heavy curtains rustled against the wall. I rushed over to them and flung them back. There was no wall. I could see straight out into a peaceful cemetery, and across the green grass, Mr. Benedict and the Browns were walking away. I hurried after them, and something stopped me. An invisible barrier across my path, cold, unyielding, like glass. I beat against the invisible barrier with my hands. I cried out, and no one heard, no one noticed. And at last, exhausted, I ceased. Jack and Susan were slowly walking toward me. They came down a little path and stopped not 5 feet from me, yet they did not see me. And they were talking about me.
Well, it's all over, Susan. Uncle Greg and Father are both gone. We've got to face the fact.
I know, Jack, but do you think Uncle really did kill Father? I don't want to believe it.
Well, I guess we'll never know. But if he did, he's been punished for it.
Perhaps this punishment is worse than we can ever guess. Do you suppose that now, wherever he is, he's trying to tell the world what he knows?
Probably, Susan. But if only Gregory hadn't become such a fanatic on the subject, none of this would ever have happened.
They started to move away. And again I cried out to them, Jack, Susan, listen to me. You've got to hear me. You've got to. But they didn't turn. They didn't hear. They couldn't. They were alive. And I was dead. At last, despairing, I turned, and there was Mr. Benedict again, watching me, his deep-set eyes expressionless.
Gregory Raymond, do you believe at last? Are you convinced now that there can be no communication?
No, there must be. Yogi Krishna proved it to me.
He was a trickster, seeking money from you. The most heartless kind of trickster, preying on your hope.
I don't believe it.
You must resign yourself to the truth. We are not unkind. We do not wish you to be tormented unnecessarily. Come with me. I shall show you.
He took me by the hand and led me across the room. A door opened silently before we reached it and shut behind us as we passed through. We went down a corridor and came to a small room where a girl sat at a desk, typing. We entered, and she did not look up.
She is typing the necessary documents concerning your burial tomorrow, Gregory Raymond. Do you wish to speak to her?
Yes, I do. Young lady, listen to me. I'm Gregory Raymond, here standing beside you.
She does not hear you.
You don't have to answer me. Just stop typing. Anything to show that you know that I'm speaking to you.
You see? Now come, we shall try further.
We continued down the hallway, and we came to another room. In this one, a man sat. We paused in the doorway and watched him. He was telephoning.
Hello, obituary editor. This is the Stonefield Chapel calling. Will you run an announcement, please, saying that services for the late Gregory Raymond will be held Thursday at 4 o'clock? That is correct. From the chapel. Only the family will be present. Thank you.
You may try to speak to him if you wish.
My friend, can you hear me? Please, just look around.
Oh, hello, evening ledger. The obituary editor, please.
Please, you must hear me. You must. I have to let the world know all that I've learned.
Oh, hello, obituary editor. This is the Stonefield Chapel calling. Will you take down an announcement, please? Oh, all right. Yes, I'll wait.
He cannot hear. But perhaps someone else may. We will try again if you wish.
Oh, yes, I do. Someone, somewhere will be able to hear me. We went on down the corridor, and another door opened before us. We stepped through onto green lawn. Mr. Benedict led me across it through a little gate and into a small cemetery that lay hushed in the shade of great trees. There 2 men were digging. We paused beside them.
Do you know what they're digging, Gregory Raymond?
Yes, a grave.
Your grave, where your earthly body shall rest while you roam the world unseen.
unheard.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Speak to them. See if they can hear you.
I will. You two men, listen to me. I'm Gregory Raymond. Do you hear?
They do not hear.
You've got to listen to me. Just give me some sign that you hear something. Just stop digging for a minute. Anything.
You see? They do not pause. Thus it must be always. Your punishment is to remain here on this earthly plane, a lonely soul without hope.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I couldn't bear that. Take me with you. I don't care what happens to me, but don't leave me here like this.
I'm sorry. It cannot be otherwise.
But what have I done? What am I being punished for?
You know. I do not need to tell you.
You mean because I killed my brother?
That is for you to say, not for me to judge.
I did. I did kill him. I pushed him off the cliff when he refused the money that I asked for.
Are you confessing to his murder, Gregory Raymond?
Yes, I am. I killed him. It was an impulse. I didn't plan to do it. But I'm sorry now. Punish me any way you want, only don't leave me here like this.
Very well, Gregory Raymond. You shall be punished. An earthly punishment according to the laws of men.
What do you mean?
You two, you can stop digging now.
Well,
You heard Gregory Raymond confess to the murder of his brother?
Well, all right, Lieutenant Benedict. We're sure glad it's over. These pickaxes are giving us blisters.
They heard us.
Yes, Mr. Raymond. Now you're under arrest for murder.
Under arrest? But that is impossible.
I'm afraid it is. You see, I'm Lieutenant Benedict of the Homicide Squad. You're not dead. You're very much alive.
No, I can't be. You're lying.
I'm afraid we played a little trick on you. Out here in Hollywood, we have some very good actors, and, well, you see, your nephew arranged the whole thing with actors, wax figures, and coffins, and weird atmosphere to see if we couldn't get a confession out of you.
No, I don't believe you.
He figured you had such a one-track mind on the subject of death. When you knocked yourself unconscious, he decided to try and convince you you'd killed yourself.
No.
Looks as though he succeeded better than we'd hoped. Now, will you come quietly, Mr. Raymond?
No. You can't arrest me. You can't arrest a dead man. And I'm dead. I know I am. I died last night.
That was the episode I died last night.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Oh, you want to know whether Gregory really was dead or not? Well, it became a matter of some dispute. The doctors said he was alive, and he insisted he was dead. They argued back and forth, and neither side could convince the other. You know how it is when neither side will give in. To this day, nobody has convinced Gregory that he's really alive. It's probably the strangest punishment a man ever suffered. Which brings me to my story for next week, SOS. It's about three men who find themselves in the most dreadful predicament any man has... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
The next episode is I Won't Die Alone.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, played by Maurice Tarplin. Others in our cast were Brett Morrison, Eric Dressler, Bryna Rayburn, and Jack Curtis. All characters in this story were fictitious, and any resemblance to the names of actual persons was purely coincidental. Original music played by Milton Kay. Grayson Enlow speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This episode of The Mysterious Traveler, I Won't Die Alone, aired on 5/11/1948.
Mutual presents The Mysterious Traveler.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as you hear the story I call I Won't Die Alone. Our story begins in 1931. Two young men are speeding along in a car on a lonely West Virginia road at 70 miles an hour. There's a tight, tense look on the face of the driver, Steve Martin, as he takes the curves on the road without slowing down. His companion, Chuck Williams, wipes the perspiration from his face with trembling hands. He turns and watches the road behind fearfully, now and then glancing at Steve's face for reassurance.
Turn on the radio, Chuck. Let's see if they got an alarm out yet.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, what do you think our chances are, Steve?
Hard to say. All depends on how fast the cops spread the word.
The two men robbed the Third National Bank of Louisburg of over $250,000 shortly before closing time. Word has just been received that the two bank robbers are now driving east on Highway 6B towards the Allegheny Mountains.
That's not good.
State Police Car 9 take up position at junction of Highway 11A and River Road.
They're moving fast.
State Police Car 10 take up position at junction of Highway 3 and Highway 6B.
Steve, Highway 6B, we're on it.
Yeah.
That is all. Stand by for further orders.
Steve, you gotta turn back. We're headed for a trap.
Take it easy, will you? There's still a chance. 20 miles ahead, there's a small dirt road that'll detour us right around them.
20 miles? We'll never make it, Steve. Isn't there any other road we can turn off on?
No.
Are you sure?
I was born in these parts. I know every inch of the country.
Steve, let's ditch the car and cut towards the mountains on foot.
Are you crazy? It's 40 miles to the mountains. We'd never make it walking. We've got to keep driving. It's our only chance.
We'll run right into that trap, I tell you. They'll be waiting with Tommy guns. We'll be dead pigeons.
Okay, then we'll be dead pigeons.
I'd give up my share to haul right now to be out of this. You gotta get me out of this, Steve. You gotta.
Oh, shut up.
Look, Steve, if you were to let me out of the car and keep on going yourself, I might be able to get away. The cops would be so busy chasing you, I'd be able to give them the slip.
You lousy rat.
Now, look at it my way, Steve. There ain't no use both are getting caught. That don't make sense.
You're great when it comes to sharing the dough, but when the heat's on, you want out.
Yeah, but I'm willing to pay for you can keep my share of the bank haul. Now, that's fair enough, ain't it? Huh?
A lot of good that dought'll do me if I get caught, but I'm sick of hearing you whine. All right, it's a deal. If I get through, the dough's all mine. If I don't, well, I don't.
Thanks, Steve, thanks. I'll never forget this.
Come on, get out.
Which way do I go, Steve?
Head across the fields until you hit a small stream. Then head upstream for about 6 miles. There's a railroad water tower there. You ought to be able to hop a freight.
Thanks, Steve. I'll be seeing you.
Yeah. So long, Chuck.
Flo, where are you?
I'm here, Chuck. I was wondering when you'd show up. See by the paper they got Steve.
Yeah. Now, let me see that paper. It says here they caught him yesterday afternoon at 5. An hour after I left him.
What'd you do, run out on him?
No, I didn't run out on him. I just played it smart. What are you looking at me like that for? There wasn't no sense in both our being caught, was there?
No, I guess not. Where's the dough?
What dough?
The $254,000 you got in the bank job.
Steve had the dough.
What? Look what it says there in the paper.
Huh?
Go ahead, read it.
Martin, when captured, told police he knew nothing about the stolen bank money. Police believe that Martin's unknown companion escaped with the loot. But I didn't, Flo. I didn't. Steve had that dough when I left him.
Then why didn't the police find it when they caught him?
There's only one answer. Steve stopped and hid the dough someplace before they got him.
Yeah, that must be it. Steve's too smart to risk being caught and having all that dough taken away from him. Poor guy. They'll probably throw the book at him.
you been so long? What happened at the trial?
They give him 25 years.
25 years?
Mm-hmm.
How did he take it?
He didn't bat an eye.
Maybe he'll think things over and squeal on
Oh,
me.
stop sniffling, will you? Steve isn't the kind of a guy to do anything like that.
Yeah, sure. Why should he want to squeal on me? Besides, if he did, the cops would find out that I didn't have the bank, though, that it's Steve who got it. He wouldn't want that to happen. Sure. Why, with good behavior, he'll be out in 18 or 19 years. Then he'll have all that dough hid.
I'd rather have the 18 or 19 years than the dough. Well, it's been nice knowing you, Chuck.
Wait a minute, Flo. Don't go.
What?
Why not stick around? We'd make a good team. We don't need Steve.
We don't, huh? And just what would I get sticking around? You haven't got brain, muscle, or dough. What's the attraction?
Listen, Flo, stick with me and I'll get dough. I've always gotten what I wanted in the end.
Without Steve, you haven't got a chance. He had all the brains, all the guts.
Yeah, and what did it get him? You notice I ain't behind bars. And I'll get that big dough yet.
3 cheers. When you do, look me up.
17 years passed. 17 years in which earth-shaking events took place. With the passing of time, Steve Martin became just a memory to Chuck Williams and Flo Duval. During the 30s, Chuck struggled desperately to make money in a half-dozen petty rackets, but failed miserably. However, with the coming of the war, his luck changed, and in the years that followed, he thrived on the black market. And with his newfound wealth, he was able to win Flo Duval. 1948 found Chuck Williams a happy, prosperous citizen without a care in the world.
How many times have I told you to knock before you come into this office?
Look, Napoleon, save that big shot stuff for your stooges.
Same old Flo. I guess that's what I like about you, baby.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, you've got that superior look on your face again. Who are you planning to knife now?
I just got word that our old pal, Steve, is getting out of prison tomorrow.
Steve Martin?
The one and only. It's been 17 years now. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Think I'll drive down to the prison, be there when Steve gets out.
What for? You haven't bothered to write or visit him since the day he was sent up?
I know. But, there's a matter of unfinished business between the two of us.
Unfinished business?
Yeah. To be exact, 254 grand.
You mean you're going after that dough that Steve has stashed away?
That's just what I mean.
But you gave up your share of that bank dough the day you and Steve separated.
Man can always change his mind.
Chuck, leave Steve alone. That money by rights is his. He paid 17 years for it. Besides, you don't need it. You got more dough than that already.
Maybe so, but that isn't going to stop me from getting that 254 grand. And you ought to know by this time I always get what I go after. I got you, didn't I, baby, huh? And remember, baby, when those gates open and Steve comes out, let me do the talking.
Don't worry, I will. I don't want any part of this dirty deal.
Relax, baby, relax. When I get that 254 G's, I'll buy you a fancy diamond bracelet. Then you'll feel better.
Hey, boss. They're opening the gate. Is that him?
No. Steve's twice as big as that guy.
Chuck, that is Steve.
Can't be. That guy looks at least 6. You're right. That is Steve. Stay in the car. Hey, Steve. Steve, over here. What's the matter? Don't you remember an old pal?
Hello, Chuck. Well, I didn't recognize you at first.
Well, here, pal.
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of surprised to see you after all these years.
Well, I've been living in South America most of the time. Only got back a year ago. I know I should have written you, but I never was any good at that.
Boy, yeah, sure smells better out here.
Come on. Let's get in my car. I got a surprise for you.
Huh? Surprise?
Yeah. You remember Flo Duval, don't you? Well, here she is.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Flo. Hey, it's nice seeing you again.
Come on, Steve. Get in. We're driving you to town.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, Felix, back to town.
Right, boss.
You don't look well, Steve.
It's just this prison parlor, Flo. And 17 years.
Well, that's all behind you now, Steve. A few weeks of good rest and good food. You'll be a new man.
I'd like to believe that.
Just take my word for it. I'm never wrong.
Well, you seem to have done all right, Chuck.
Yeah, not bad. I own a nightclub, a bowling alley, used car business, a couple of apartment houses. I can't complain.
I'm glad to hear it.
And I'm not forgetting an old pal either. Now, Flo and me want you to come and stay with us until you get on your feet. You know, a house guest.
I'd rather not, Chuck. I don't want to put you out.
Put me out? Ha! Listen to the guy. Well, we got suite servants, everything. Steve, I just won't take no for an answer.
A week passed, then 2 weeks, during which Steve Martin did little other than eat and sleep and take long walks. Chuck Williams played the role of the gracious host to perfection, and his guests lacked nothing in the way of comfort. So concerned was Chuck with his guests' welfare that he always knew exactly where Steve was and what he was doing. Then one day, as Chuck had known it would happen, Steve came into his office for a private chat.
Hey, busy, Chuck?
No. Have a seat, Steve.
Thanks.
What's on your mind?
Well, while I was doing time, my old man died and left me a small farm in West Virginia. That's where I was born and raised, you know.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Well, I'm going back to the old farmhouse and settle down there for a while.
I see. Well, anything you say, Steve. Only let's keep in touch, huh?
Yeah, sure thing, Chuck.
When are you thinking of leaving?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, that's soon, huh? Well, we'll have to have a little farewell party tonight, okay?
Yeah, fine. I'll see you later.
Right you are. Felix, come in here.
What's up, boss?
My pal, Steve, is getting ready to make his move.
Guess he can't wait no longer to get his hands on that dough.
Looks that way. He's leaving tomorrow morning for a small farm he's got in West Virginia.
West Virginia, huh?
Yeah. Farmhouse can't be more than 30 or 40 miles from where he stashed the dough.
Is there any chance he might have hidden it on the farm?
Nah. Cops caught him before he got that far. He hid that dough someplace off Highway 6B.
How many of the boys you want me to take along?
Take 4. I don't want any slip-ups. Watch him day and night, and without being seen.
Just leave it to me.
Sooner or later, he'll lead you to the dough. And when he does, well, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, then. You better start packing.
The next morning, when Steve Martin took a train for West Virginia, 2 very inconspicuous men were seated at the other end of the coach he was riding in. They watched him get off the train at an all but deserted station in West Virginia, but made no move to follow him. As the train started off, Steve hired a car to take him to the farm he'd inherited. It was dusk when he finally reached the deserted farmhouse. On a heavily wooded hill 100 yards away, Felix and a companion watched through field glasses as Steve lit a fire in the farmhouse and prepared to settle down for the night. In the days and nights that followed, Felix and his men took turns watching Steve Martin's every action. And every evening, Felix would phone Chuck Williams and report that Steve hadn't made a move as yet.
How many times have I told you to knock before coming into this office?
What's the matter, Napoleon? Aren't things working out?
I've told you to lay off that Napoleon stuff. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
That must be Felix. Hello?
Hello, boss. Felix.
Well, what's happening?
Nothing. He still hasn't made a move. All he does is fish and read.
What about visitors?
He hasn't seen anyone since the day he got here.
Are you sure he didn't give you the slip during the night and get the dough?
Not a chance. I got 2 boys watching the house at night.
Well, maybe he knows he's being watched, and that's why he hasn't tried anything.
I'd bet my last buck he hasn't spotted us.
Nothing ever goes right unless I'm running the show. I'm leaving tonight for West Virginia. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay, boss. I'll be expecting you.
That's a farmhouse down there, boss. Look through the field glasses. You can see it just like you were standing in the front yard.
He's sitting on the porch reading.
Yeah, reading and fishing is all he does. He hasn't been more than a couple of 100 yards away from the house since he got here.
Well, he must have spotted you. That must be the reason he hasn't made a move.
How could he have spotted us? You can see how careful we've been.
Well, I'll wait a couple more days. See what happens. If he doesn't move soon, I'll have to think of something else.
Leaving Felix to continue his watch over the farmhouse, Chuck returned to the village and registered at the village inn. The hours that followed dragged interminably, and the hatred that Chuck felt for Steve Martin grew with each passing hour. In the evening, Felix drove into the village and reported that nothing new had occurred. 4 more fruitless days went by. Chuck Williams was unable to contain his fury any longer. He got into his car and drove to within a half-mile of the farmhouse, then walked the rest of the way to where Felix and his men were hidden on the hill.
Boss, what are you doing here?
I got tired of waiting.
You better get down, boss, or Steve Martin's liable to spot you.
Forget that. We're through playing a waiting game. We're going to move in on him.
Move in on
Yeah.
him?
Maybe after a light workout, my pal Steve will be willing to tell me where he stashed the dough.
Ah, that sounds more like it. I never did go for this cat and mouse game.
Before we're through with him, he'll be begging to tell us what he knows. Hello, Steve. Got lonesome for you. Decided to pay you a call.
I thought you'd get around to it sooner or later.
You don't sound very glad to see me. That's a fine way to act towards a pal who was your host for the last 3 weeks. Didn't I treat you right?
Yeah. That's what made me figure I hadn't seen the last of you. What do you want?
I'll give you one guess.
I haven't got it.
I know you haven't, but you know where it is.
So what? That money belongs to me, not you.
That's where you're wrong, pal. That dough belongs to the guy strong enough to get it. That's me.
Okay, then you go ahead and get it.
Should I let him have it, boss?
That's not up to me, Felix. That's up to Steve. Well, pal, you gonna dig up that dough for me?
No.
You're not as smart as you used to be. You know I'll get what I want in the end.
I wouldn't count on it.
Okay, Felix. I guess it's up to you and Slim now.
Hell talk. Won't you, pal? That's it, pal. Try getting on your feet. Here, let me help you.
How is he, Felix?
It's out cold, boss.
He always did have a stepping streak. You think in his condition he couldn't take all that punishment?
We give him any more, he's liable to kick off.
Sure?
Yeah. He's already got a couple of busted ribs, and that beating around the head didn't help any.
We gotta make him talk. We gotta.
You have to figure out some other way.
Throw some water in his face.
Okay. Let's come to, boss.
Prop him up in a chair.
Come on, you. There.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Felix here wants to try the water treatment.
Water treatment?
Yeah. Now, why don't you play it smart and tell me where you hid that dough? Won't talk, huh? Okay, Felix.
Wait, I'll talk.
Well, it's more like it. Where is it?
You could never find it alone. I'll have to take you to it. Just you and me.
What's the matter with Felix coming along?
Just you and me.
Okay, pal, okay. Only I'm wondering if you're in condition to make it. Hey, Felix.
Yeah, boss.
Give him a few drinks, try to fix him up.
Right.
As soon as you've done that, Steve and me'll be on our way.
An hour later, Steve, with the assistance of Felix, tottered to Chuck Williams' car and got in the front seat. Chuck slid behind the wheel and started the motor. As he drove off, he waved to Felix triumphantly. In a few minutes, the farmhouse had faded from view. Steve, huddled in a corner of the front seat, fought to keep from crying out every time the car hit rut in the road. Now and then, he opened his pain-filled eyes to look out the window. Chuck watched him with satisfaction as he drove.
How much further is it?
You drive about 5 miles until you reach a small gravel road where you'll see a big sign saying the Devil's Caverns.
You turn right there and go 2 miles.
The Devil's Cabins. What are they?
They're a big tourist attraction in these parts during the summer. Hundreds of huge underground caverns that run for miles in all directions.
You mean that's where you stashed the dough?
Yeah. It's the best place in the world.
How do you know you'll be able to find it again?
I know every inch of the caverns. When I was a kid, my old man worked as a tourist guide there. I learned my way around from him.
Okay. But you better find that dough. I'm warning you.
I'll find it. Now, you should be reaching the gravel road in a couple of minutes. Turn right, then it's 2 miles to the Devil's Caverns. This is it. Park the car in that shed over there.
Place sure looks deserted.
Well, no one ever comes here until June.
Is that the entrance to the cabins, that door set in the rock?
Yeah. You'll have to shoot the lock off the door.
Is this okay?
Yeah. No one will ever be able to spot the car here.
But you said no one comes here until June.
No one does. Why take chances? We'll need a flashlight.
I got one. Come out this way. And if you're thinking of any tricks, don't. Remember, I got this gun, and you're in no condition to try anything.
Yeah, you saw to that.
How come you didn't hide out here when the cops were after you?
Well, there wasn't any place to hide the car. Shed wasn't here 17 years ago.
Tough. Never saw such a lonely-looking place.
Yeah. Well, you ought to be able to blow this padlock off with one shot.
You better stand over there. Yeah, that does it. How much further is it? Seems like we've been walking an hour already.
It's right up ahead.
Sure you can find your way out again? All these cabins look alike to me.
Yeah, I know the way out.
Sure is damp in here. Hey, what was that?
Oh, probably just a rat running past you. The place is full of them.
Seems to me it's taken a long time to find that place where you hid the dough. If you're trying anything,
Here's
I'll...
where it is. I'll hold the flashlight a little higher. That's it. I hid the suitcase behind this rock.
Got it?
No, not yet. Here it is.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, all right. I can still recognize it. Open it up.
Well, there's the dough.
Yeah. Still in the bank wrappers. Look at it. Over $250,000. What's so funny? Answer me.
So you're the guy who always gets what he goes after in the end, huh?
Yeah, now I got the dough. And I'm asking you again, what's so funny?
Look at the money. Go ahead, look at it.
I'm looking. What about it?
Yeah, you're looking, mastermind, but you don't see. All those bills are goldbacks.
Goldbacks?
Yeah, that's right. In 1933, the government called in all goldbacks. That's how the kidnapper Bruno Hauptmann got caught, trying to pass goldbacks after the government had called him in.
You mean that dough is no good?
That's just what I mean. You try passing any of that dough and you'll end up doing time.
You've known all along that dough was no good?
Ever since 1933. Knowing it was worthless, I never intended coming here for it. But you made me.
I ought to let you have it, you rat, for leading me on like this.
Well, why don't you?
Come on, pick up that suitcase. Let's get out of here.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to tell you, Chuck.
Tell me what?
I'm staying here.
You're staying here?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, look, I've had enough out of you. Start leading the way out.
I guess you didn't understand. I said I'm staying here.
Get going or you'll get it right between the eyes.
That doesn't scare me. You see, Chuck, there was something else I didn't tell you.
Something else?
Yeah. I didn't get out of prison on good behavior. I got out because the doctor said I was going to die in 3 months.
You're going to die in 3 months?
Yeah, that's right. I thought I'd die peacefully on my farm. Only you wouldn't let me do that. So I've decided to die here with you as company.
Steve, you can't do that. You can't do that, Steve. You got to get me out of here. You got to.
I don't have to do anything I don't want to.
But get me out of here, Steve. I'll make it worth your while. I got dough. I got lots of dough.
It's too bad you won't be able to take it with you.
Steve, I'll give you 100 G's. 200 G's if you get me out of here.
It's not going to be tough for me to die. because I only got 3 months anyway. But I'm going to enjoy watching you. You're going to get weaker and weaker as you plead with me to lead you out of here. Then you're going to get desperate and try to find a way out by yourself. But you'll never make it. You'll go wandering from one cabin to another, and then in the end, you'll probably wander back here to find me dead. And your flashlight's going to go out. You'll be all alone in the dark with the rats and the bats.
Oh, stop it! Stop it, or I'll
And
shoot!
as you go weaker, the rats are going to close in on you before you know it.
Steve. Steve. I didn't mean it. Well, you made me. Steve, say something. He's dead. He's dead. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Help! Help! Help!
This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our little trip? What happened to Chuck Williams? Oh, the poor fellow was found dead a month later when the cabins were opened for the summer tourist trade. Seems Chuck had wandered from cabin to cabin without being able to find his way out. Evidently, he'd gone mad in his last hours, for he was found with his pockets stuffed full of bills. Goldbacks. Now, I recall another case in which two ghosts came face to face, only to discover that... Oh, you have to get off now. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. In tonight's story, all characters were fictional, and any resemblance to the name of an actual person, living or dead, was purely coincidental. In the cast were Maurice Tarplin, Joe Julian, Art Carney, Elspeth Eric, and Alan Manson. Original music was played by Paul Taubman. The Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert J. Arthur and David Cogan. Listen next week to a tale titled
Death Writes a Letter.
Another strange and suspenseful tale of the mysterious traveler. Don't miss the chilling tale titled 7 Casks of Death, written by Maurice Tarplin, your mysterious traveler, which appears in the current issue of Dime Mystery Magazine, now on sale at your local newsstand. This program has come to you from New York. Another program of dramatic action will follow in just a minute. Stay tuned to the station for Official Detective. Carl Caruso speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. The Mysterious Traveler.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back and get a good grip on your nerves, if you can. Where are we going? Why, tonight we're going on a little excursion into the realm of pure imagination. You've all heard the old saying, believe in a thing enough and it'll come true. Well, suppose Just suppose many people came to believe in something that couldn't possibly be real. Such as an artificial monster growing in a scientist's laboratory. What would happen? But if you want to know what might happen, listen to the story I call If You Believe. My story begins in a rambling old house deep in the woods. In a homemade laboratory, gray-haired Professor Jonathan Davis is peering eagerly into a large glass container that holds an odd, transparent, jelly-like substance.
Ellen! Oh, Ellen!
Yes, sir?
Ellen, come quick.
I'm coming, dear. What is it?
Ellen, look. I think I've succeeded at last.
Oh, Dad.
You look. Your eyes are better than mine. Yes, isn't there movement in the protoplasm this time? Isn't it stirring just a little?
No, Dad. There isn't any movement.
No? You're positive, Ellen? I was sure I saw some sign of life.
I'm quite positive, Dad. Now, please, won't you admit that what you're trying to do is impossible?
No, Ellen, no. I will succeed. I know it. Now, come, we've got to try another feeding mixture. If you hand me the saline solution and dextrose, and I'll begin again.
But while Professor Davis labored in his lonely seclusion to make a lifelong dream come true, something that was to affect him vitally was happening in the editorial room of the largest newspaper in the nearby city.
Steady desk, Benson speaking. Oh, hello, Mr. McGuire. Yes? Well, yes, sure. I've been reading Dan Duncan's special features. I edit them. I see. You don't think they've been colorful enough lately, huh? Well, to tell the truth, I agree with you. I've been meaning to speak to him about it. Yes. Sure, I'll do it now. He just came in. Right. Right. Good night, Mr. McGuire. Hey, Dan.
Yeah, Joe. What cooks?
The big boss just phoned down.
What's he want?
Well, frankly, he thinks you're slipping.
McGuire thinks I'm slipping. Well, I like that.
That's what he said.
And I've done everything to get hot material except to go out and commit a murder myself.
Well, maybe he's tired of murders. You want to know why you don't turn up something like that haunted house story you did last spring?
Why I don't. That was a good story, wasn't it?
It was a honey.
Yeah. Especially the description of the way the ghost of the drowned girl walked around the house, leaving wet spots where it stepped. You know, I caught a heck of a cold walking around in wet socks to make those footmarks.
No more than you deserve for faking a story.
You're faking a story. Listen, Benson, any time a million readers believe a story, it's true. And they believed in that ghost. Every one of them.
I'm not saying they didn't, but McGuire wants another story just as good.
I got a good mind to tell the old buzzard to fly a kite. Another story like... Hey.
Huh? What is it?
I think I got it.
Hey, Ted. Ted Jones.
Oh, yeah, Dan?
Front and center.
Oh.
Yeah, what is it, Dan?
All right, dump your camera on the desk and set.
Okay.
Now tell me, what was that story you told me last week about some professor living up in the woods back at town? Never coming out of his private lab?
Oh, you mean Professor Davis?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Well, what about him?
There was a fuss over something he said in a lecture one day, wasn't there?
A fuss? Well, it was more like an explosion.
Hey, wait a minute. I remember that case. Professor claimed he could create an artificial man, wasn't that it?
No. He said that an artificial man might be produced someday. Might be.
Well, the paper said he claimed he could create one.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it made a good story, didn't it?
And drove Professor Davis out of the university into retirement. Oh, the school didn't like the publicity.
Water under the bridge, kid. Anyway, here's the old professor working away secretly for the last 5 years. All alone?
No, he wasn't all alone. His daughter Ellen's with him.
How old is she?
Oh, she was 15 then, so...
She's 20 now. Good looker?
Well, I was in Professor Davis's class. I remember her as a skinny brat with yellow hair.
Yeah, good, a blonde. So here's the prof secretly working with his beautiful blonde daughter. At what?
I'll bite. What?
Why, he's trying to prove he was right. He's trying to create an artificial man.
Say, you got something there.
Oh, now, wait a minute. You don't know Professor Davis is trying to create artificial life?
Well, we soon will.
We pause for station identification. This is Violent Radio, broadcasting out of Connecticut in United States of America on Twitch TV. Welcome, everyone. How is everyone doing this morning? Now back to our show, the Mysterious Traveler episode called If You Believe. We'll be streaming The Mysterious Traveler all day into the night. Enjoy.
Oh, you know where his hideout is, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, then grab your camera. Let's get going.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Dan. Suppose you find Professor Davis is...
Forget it. Benson, save me 2 columns. Come on, Ted. We're on our way.
There, Ellen. It's done. Now we must warm it ever so gently. It'll stay at blood heat until morning. And then, Ellen?
Oh, I hope so, Dad. But, darling, if you fail again, won't you please promise me to stop trying to create this artificial protoplasm?
Well, we'll talk about that in the morning. Now, who could that be?
I'll go see, Dad. Yes?
I'm Ted Jones, Miss Davis. I don't suppose you remember me.
Ted Jones? Oh, you were one of Father's students, weren't you?
Yes, that's right. I'm a newspaper photographer now. Could we come in? I have a friend with me, a reporter.
Ellen, who is it?
Newspaper men, Dad. They want to see you.
Newspaper, then don't let them in. Send them away.
All right, come now, Professor. We just want to ask you a couple of questions, but we can talk better inside, so... There. Now we can talk like friends.
Hey, but Dan, we weren't invited in.
How dare you force your way in here? Get out, both of you.
Please go.
Dan, come on. Professor Davis doesn't want to talk to us.
Keep your shirt on, Ted. Just a couple of questions, Professor. Now, isn't it true that hidden away here you're creating artificial life?
I won't answer your questions. You just print more lies and ruin everything I'm trying to do.
Then you are creating artificial life, huh?
Young man,
Tell me how far you've gotten. You figuring on springing an artificial man on us one of these days?
You fools. While I still struggle to create synthetic protoplasm, you talk of artificial men. Go before I throw you out.
Please go, please.
Come on, Dan, we're leaving.
Okay, we're going. Thanks for the interview, Professor. Read all about it in tomorrow's Curtain.
The imbeciles.
Thank you for the follow-up,
They know
Lace.
science.
Appreciate it.
All they want is to cheapen my work. Make it a sensation for the headlines.
Please, Father, you must get control of yourself. They've gone now.
Yes, dear. Well, they shan't interfere with my work. Well, come, we must adjust the heat. Ellen.
Yes, Dad, what is it?
Ellen, the mixture's moving. This time I'm sure of it. The protoplasm, it's alive.
Say, Dan, this is something. Behind bolted doors, deep in the woods, Professor Jonathan Davis toils night and day to create the world's first synthetic man. In a great vat lies a strange caricature of humanity. It has a head, arms, legs, a body, all of them fashioned of a pale green substance like gelatin.
Nice touch, huh?
Day by day, life stirs more strongly in this grotesque creation of science. Someday it may breathe, walk, eat. Now, look, Dan, aren't you going pretty strong?
Forget it. The old man wants a story, doesn't he? Besides, the professor really is working on synthetic protoplasm. Maybe he has got a pale green monster in his bathtub. How do I know?
Okay, Dan, but if you're faking this story, I know nothing about it.
Faking it? You know I never fake stories.
Okay. We'll set this up and put it in the press wires. By noon tomorrow, 40 million people will be believing in Professor Davis' artificial monster.
By noon tomorrow, I'll be believing in it myself.
Hey, man, read all about it. Find this great artificial man. Read all about it. Hey,
And so, all over the nation, people read the story and marveled. and believed. While in the laboratory, hidden in the woods,
Ellen, look. This time it is alive. It is. There can be no doubt of it.
The liquid is certainly moving, Dad.
Yes, see? And the protoplasm is breathing. Listen. You can hear it. I've created artificial life, Ellen.
Yes, I'm afraid so, Dad.
Afraid so? What do you mean? I'd like to see their faces down at the university when they hear of this.
It's grown since last night.
Yes, it has. The cells are multiplying like true protoplasm. That's why I transferred it to the staff tank. Now I must add salt, acid, phosphorus.
Oh, that must be grocery boy. Excuse me, Dad. Yes? Oh, you.
Miss Davis, I hope that you'll let me apologize.
We have nothing to say to you.
Please don't shut the door before I explain.
Explain? There's nothing to explain. You force your way in here.
I came to apologize for that. Well, have you seen the morning papers?
We're not interested in the papers.
I'm afraid you'll be interested in this one. Look.
Oh, how outrageous.
That story of your father creating an artificial man is in every paper in the country, and I feel I'm to blame, and I want to make up for it. Can't I come in so we can talk?
I guess you'd better, Mr. Jones. But Dad mustn't see this paper.
Oh, no, of course not. But won't he recognize me?
No, I don't think so. He's very nearsighted. I'll just tell him that you used to be one of his students.
And if you'll tell me the real truth, I'll try to get the paper to understand that Dan Duncan just made up his story.
Who is it, Ellen?
It's Ted Jones, Dad, one of your former students. He called to say hello.
Jones, Jones? Ted Jones? Oh, yes, of course. Organic chemistry, wasn't it, Jones?
Oh, yes, sir.
You're the one who kept breaking things. Oh, Jones, I have something here you'd be very interested in. Come and see.
Yes, sir.
Look. That stuff in the tank. It seems to be alive. It is alive. Synthetic protoplasm, my boy, the first ever created. It's breathing. Yes, and it's also growing. Life becomes stronger in it by the moment.
It's changing color, Dad. It's becoming a pale green.
Yes, growing fast. Very fast. I never dreamed that success would come so completely.
Hiya, Ted. I thought I'd find you here.
Why, Dan.
Dan Duncan himself. Hiya, Professor.
What do you want here?
Oh, just a few pictures. Shot of you in your lab, so forth.
You have the nerve to come here after what you've done.
What I've done? You haven't seen anything yet. You and your father are big news now. You're going to be bigger.
Dan, you'd better go.
Better go? I don't follow you, kid.
I said you'd better go. There isn't any story here for you.
No story? Hey, what's eating you? Aren't you here to get a follow-up?
No, I came here to get the truth. Something you wouldn't be interested in.
Hey, what kind of talk is that?
Are you going to go, or will I have to throw you out?
Throw me out? Now listen, kid.
You want me to try it? All right, I will.
Okay, I'm going. Take your hands off me. But don't think you can get away with this. You're fired.
And that's all right with me.
As for you, Professor, you and your artificial man are going to be so well known in a day or two, you'll be getting offers from Hollywood.
And so, with each edition of the papers, the headlines grew bigger.
Every paper, read all about it. All about the artificial monster. Every paper.
The telegraph wires carried editorials condemning Professor Davis.
Is it a man or is it a monster Professor Davis has created? By his refusal to answer questions, the professor led us to suspect that
Radio commentators spread the story to still more listening millions.
A strange substance like pale green gelatin. Now it moves and stirs in its confinement, seeking to escape. This strange creation of the
And speakers denounced Professor Davis.
And I ask you, can science be permitted to venture into these forbidden realms unchecked? Who knows what horror may emerge from the laboratory if we are not careful? This mad thing must be stopped. Stopped!
Who is it?
Oh, it's me, Ted.
Oh.
Ted, did you have any trouble?
No, I got the medicine for your father, all right, and I brought the evening papers, too.
What do they say?
Pretty bad. They're all using Duncan's story, and he shot the works.
Ted, how can he do such a thing?
He's a very plausible writer. He has a knack for making people believe him. If anybody accuses him of lying, he'll just say that he was misled by your father.
I see. I'm sorry you lost your job trying to help us.
That doesn't matter. I was about ready to quit anyway. How is your father now?
He seems to be sleeping quietly.
Well, I'm sticking around until he's all right again.
Well, you don't have to do that, Ted. I'll make out.
If I hadn't gotten into that fight with Duncan, your father might not have had his stroke.
No, it was just the excitement. It's his heart, but I know how to take care of him. But, Ted, I'm frightened.
About your father?
No, about it, the protoplasm.
Oh.
It's changed just since this morning.
It's changed? Well, how?
It's grown and... Well, come on, see for yourself.
All right. Ellen, it seems to be taking on shape.
Yes, and it looks... Oh, Ted, it looks like green gelatin.
The way Duncan describes it.
And look, there's a vague shape like a head and the rough outline of arms and legs.
Oh, it isn't possible.
It shouldn't be, but it's happening. Something terrible is taking place inside that glass tank.
I don't understand. Your father certainly never intended to create this.
You know, all afternoon I've been wondering if Father really has created it.
I don't follow you, Ellen. You mean some outside force might be responsible?
Ted, you know the old saying, believe in a thing enough and it'll come true.
Yes, of course.
Well, I think that's true. The power of belief is a tremendous thing. People begin to believe that there's going to be a depression, and there is a depression.
But, Ellen...
They begin to believe that strangers and foreigners are enemies, and pretty soon they are enemies. They believe there's going to be a war, and war comes.
Well, that's true, but what are you getting at?
How many people are reading Dan Duncan's story this very minute, right now, while we're talking?
Well, hundreds of thousands, probably, all over the nation. Maybe 1 million.
And they all believe it's true.
Well, a good many of them. Yes, Dan has a genius for being plausible.
Then don't you see, Ted? Here in this laboratory is the necessary material for a monster. And out there are all those people believing in such a fantastic monster.
You mean 1 million people are thinking life into the protoplasm?
Yes, Ted. I know it sounds fantastic, but that monster was never created by my father. Dan Duncan created it when he wrote about it.
Well, if that's true...
There's no other answer. Over there in that glass tank is something that's alive only because millions of people believe it's alive.
No, it is alive. There's no telling what it may become. Ellen, we have to destroy it.
It'll break Dad's heart, but we can't let it live.
Well, it's growing bigger by the minute. We've got to get rid of it now before it grows any larger.
There's acid in those bottles. That'll destroy it.
All right. Yeah, I see them. Here. Just as soon as I get it open, it'll take care of the creature.
Be careful, Ted. It can burn you dreadfully.
Ellen, what's happening? What are you doing?
Dad, darling, you're supposed to be in bed.
I'm feeling better. I wanted to see how the protoplasm was.
Please go back to bed, Dot. Your heart.
Oh, my heart's all right, but I must be sure. Oh, it's changed. It's taken on a form.
Yes, Professor, a monstrous, unnatural form.
It has a head, arms, legs. But it can't have. It's only protoplasm. It's all impossible.
Unfortunately, it's true. I can't explain now, but, well, we've got to destroy it.
No, the culmination of my life's work. You can't destroy it.
We must, Dad.
No, I won't let you.
It's the only thing to do.
Professor, look at it. It's crawling around inside the tank now. It's trying to climb out.
But it can't be dangerous. It's just harmless protoplasm.
Dad, Ted is right. You've got to let us kill it.
It's just protoplasm, I tell you.
It was just protoplasm.
Stand back, Professor. I'm going to empty this acid on.
No, you mustn't. I will.
Dad!
Professor Davis! Professor Davis, look out! Why, the tank. He fell against the tank and broke it.
Is he hurt, Ted?
Well, I'll see.
Oh. Ted, the protoplasm is moving toward him.
We've got to get him out of here. I have his arms. Quick, you take his feet.
Oh, hurry up, Ted. It's trying to crawl out of the tank.
you manage it?
Yes, keep on.
All right, easy now, easy. All right, just a little farther. All right, one more step, Ellen. There. Now, here's the landing. We can put him down here. Now, easy. Easy. There. Oh.
Ted, I can't find his post.
Let me try.
Dad? Ted's no use. He's gone.
I'm afraid so.
His heart failed him. I've always known it would someday. Ted, down in the laboratory.
Yes, it's moving. Look, it's gotten out of the tank and it's crawling all around the lab.
And the only way out is down those stairs and through the lab. We're trapped up here.
Look, I'm not saying it isn't a good story, Dan. It's a whale of a story. But McGuire wants some pictures.
Pictures? How can I get pictures? I can't even get into the place.
I don't care. Just get them.
You want me to bust in the window, I suppose?
Let your conscience be your guide. And I know you haven't got a conscience. But make it fast. I want those shots for the late morning edition.
All right. I'm going. With a camera in one hand and a bunch of skeleton keys in the other.
It's looking for food, Ted.
Yes, and it's getting frantic. Look how it crawls back and forth through the lab. It's been doing that for an hour now.
Look how enormous it's grown. Suppose it tries to come up these stairs to this balcony.
Well, it may not. It has no eyes, no intelligence. It's just protoplasm, blindly seeking food.
But suppose it does try to come up the stairs.
Well, then we'll stop it. I have the gun here that I found in your father's desk. I'll use that on it.
I don't think it would even feel a bullet.
Well, we'll see. There, it's on the other side of the lab now in plain sight. Stand back there, and I'll try a couple of shots. I hit it.
It didn't even notice.
No. If we could only reach those bottles of acid, that would fix it.
But every time we've started down the stairs, it's rushed over to wait for us.
Must feel the vibration, but I'm going to take one more try.
Ted, please be careful.
Yes, I will. I'll tiptoe down one step at a time. Perhaps I can avoid attracting its attention this time. What's it doing now?
Lying quiet, as if it was listening.
Only lie quiet a few seconds more. I'm almost at the bottom.
Ted, quick! It's coming this way! Oh, Ted, it almost got
Yes,
you.
it did touch my foot, but I wasn't interested in getting any better acquainted.
What are we going to do now?
I don't know, Ellen. If we could only reach that acid. Say, I wonder if it would make any difference if we turned out the light. They can be controlled from up here, can't they?
Oh, yes, but what good would that do?
Well, in the dark, it might become inactive. Some elementary organisms are like that.
Well, we can try it. Okay, I'll turn out the light. There. Pitch black now. But it's still moving around.
Well, just wait a moment. Listen.
What is it?
I heard footsteps outside the house.
Footsteps?
Just listen.
Someone coming in the front door. Yeah, there's someone in the lab.
But who? Good heavens, Duncan, is that you, Dan? Dan, answer me. Is that you? Get out, quick!
Okay, kid, keep your shirt on. I'm going as soon as I get a picture of this joint.
But, Dan, you don't understand. It's loose. Get away, quick! Ellen, turn on that light.
Yes, Ted.
You can't scare me, kid. I came to get a picture, and I'm going to get it.
Run, Dan, run! Ellen, don't look.
We got to save him.
Quick, Ellen, the ass.
Hurry.
Here, you take this bottle. I'll take one. We'll break them over it, understand?
Yes, Ted.
Well, come on, then.
He's gone. Duncan's gone.
It's covering it. Eating it. Ellen, throw your bottle now. Don't fury that force of it enough to kill anything. The acid is burning into it. It's killing it.
Ellen is dying.
It's not moving anymore.
It's not breathing either. We've killed it.
It's starting to melt away. It's dissolving.
Now that it's dead, it's turning back into the liquid it started from. The substance that the belief of millions gave an unreal life to.
Well, it's gone back to a liquid now. There's nothing left of it.
It's gone as if it had never existed.
Except for Dan Duncan. Oh, dear.
There's nothing we can do for him, Ellen. He's dead. We created the monster. It's killed him.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Well, maybe it's true about believing in things and making them happen. Wars and depressions and artificial monsters and things like that. I think I'll make a New Year's resolution to be careful what I believe in 1947. No more believing in bogeymen or spooks. I might meet one. Instead, I'll try believing in some of the nicer things for a change, such as peace and goodwill among nations. Well, if I can get enough people to join me, maybe they'll come true and... Oh, you'll have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. In today's cast were Maurice Toplin, Chuck Webster, Louise Fitch, Wendell Holmes, Edgar Staley, and Bill Smith. Original music was played by Doc Whipple. The Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Bob Arthur and David Kogan. And now, a preview of next week's strange and shivery story by The Mysterious Traveler.
It's only 2 days now to New Year's Eve. Were you planning a big celebration to greet 1947? I'd be careful if I were you. Because, you see, our story next week is about a man who did just that. In fact, it was such a big celebration that when he got over it, it wasn't 1947 at all, but 1948. He lost a whole year out of his life. And when he finally got the year back, well, what happened to him shouldn't happen to a werewolf. So take it easy New Year's Eve, so you'll be sure to be on hand next week for the strange and terrifying tale I call New Year's Nightmare.
The Mysterious Traveler is presented from our New York studios. Carl Caruso speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
For a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the workshops of the nation's top mystery writers, be sure to hear Mr. Mystery every week. The famous creators of your favorite fiction bafflers will be guests of Mr. Mystery. You'll hear short mystery dramatizations as well. Don't miss your chance for plus mystery entertainment and hear Mr. Mystery and a well-known guest expert every week over most of these stations. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
is the mysterious traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we meet an enterprising gentleman who knew all the angles, and he played them for all they're worth. I call his story, It's Only Money. My friend Charlie Ruffing is a highly educated man. He has a degree from the School of Experience, and he's done postgraduate work at Larceny College to win an advanced degree as expert chiseler and all-around confidence man. If there's a way of making easy money he hasn't tried, it's not worth trying. That's right, but I'm reforming. Beginning now, I'm never going to touch another dishonest dollar. You think I don't mean it? Just listen to my story and see. Let's go back a few months. I was doing all right cleaning up on the ponies. I'd worked out a brand new system, see? I owned 8 different racehorses under 8 different names. I had a different trainer and jockey for each horse. I gave all my instructions by phone, and nobody knew I had any connection with any of the horses. Well, every once in a while, it worked out so that only my horses were running in a certain race. And then I decided which one I wanted to win, gave all my different trainers their instructions by phone to make sure the right horse won, then went out and placed my bet. Well, naturally, I could only work it for a while, but I planned to make one big cleanup and quit. My partner was Figures Freddy, a big numbskull who couldn't read or write, but could add up figures in his head like an adding machine. Well, we were sitting in my apartment listening to the racing results.
Coming into the stretch now, I have a girl in the lead by a neck. Steps on second barrel line, second coating coming up fast from the outside.
Shut it off, Figures. We haven't any dough up on this race.
Okay, Charlie, if you say so. Steps on takes the lead.
What's our bankroll now, Figures?
Let me think. $25,920.48.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we had 50 grand in the kick.
Well, expenses have been heavy. Gee, what it costs to feed 8 horses, not to mention entry fees. Why, hay alone sets you back.
Spare me the details.
Yeah, sure, Charlie.
Figures I'm getting uneasy. Somebody's going to tumble to our setup soon.
That's what I've been telling you.
We'll shoot the works. One big killing and quit. What's our next setup?
Tomorrow, the 5th at Sandy Park. 5 horses running, all out.
Yeah, I remember. We got Surprise in it, huh?
Yeah.
Saving him for the right spot. What odds do you think he'll bring?
Ooh, 15-1, easy.
And the bankroll goes on Surprise tomorrow.
Yeah, but who'll take such a big bet?
Odds on Harry and his syndicate can handle it. We played him careful, won only a little. Now we can nick him good.
Harry is a real tough cookie. If you welch on him or he catches you being crooked, he just as soon drop you off the top of a building as not.
He won't catch us. We'll clean up good and clear out. Fast. So I telephoned my trainers their instructions, made sure Surprise would win, and me and Figures dropped up to odds on Harry's private bookie office the next afternoon.
Well, Charlie, how's the boy? Drop in for business or just to cut up Dutchess?
Little business, Harry. Thought I might make a bet or two. Just pass the time.
Got your eye on anything special?
Well, Figures here has been doing some handicapping for me. Thinks the 5th at Sandy Downs looks good.
The 5th? Well, let's see who's in it. Summer Rose, Second Cousin, April Morn, Firecracker, and Surprise. Firecracker's the favorite. I can give you 2-1 on him.
Oh, now, Harry, you know me. I always like a long shot. I was thinking of Surprise.
Surprise?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, Harry Surprise ain't a bad horse. He just had hard luck. He's due.
So's my rent. All right. Here's my chance to win my dough back. I was going to set a $1,000 top on you, Charlie, but if you want to bet on surprise, there's no limit.
Now, Harry, you tempt me. Might go the whole work.
Anything up to $50,000, Charlie, and no more the better.
I've only got 25 G's in cash. I might go for 50 if you'd take my check for the difference.
Why not? 50,000 on surprise in the first. But I can't give you any track odds. 10 to 1 is the best I can give you.
Well, it's only money. I'll take it.
Gee, that'll mean a $500,000 payoff. If he wins, figures. If he wins.
Oh, sure. If.
Surprise hasn't got a chance. Still, I better lay off part of that bet. Excuse me while I get on the phone and arrange it.
Harry went off to make arrangements to place part of the bet, and Figures and I just looked at each other and sat tight. $500,000. This was it. This was the big jackpot I've been working toward all my life. The more I thought about it, the better I felt. And when the race started, I felt even better yet. Surprise started in front, and he stayed there, all according to my orders.
They're rounding the final turn. It's still Surprise, April Morn, Summer Rose, Second Cousin, and Firecracker in that order. Surprise is 2 lengths in front and pulling away, which is a real surprise because he hasn't won a race all season. Now they're in the stretch, and Surprise... Wait a minute. Surprise is in trouble. His right rein broke. The jockey can't control him. Surprise is pulling wide. He's angling across the track in front of April Morn. That may get him disqualified even if he does win. No, April Morn's gotten around him. April Morn is almost at the wire. She's over. Summer Rose second, Firecracker third, Second Cousin fourth, and Surprise, who had the race all wrapped up, has stopped. The jockey is getting off.
Gosh, Charlie, he didn't win.
Oh, he didn't, did he?
I told you he didn't have a chance. Well, as you always say, Charlie, that's only money.
Yeah, that's right. Only money.
You want to settle up now, or are you going to bet on the 6?
No. I've had enough for today, Harry. Well, here's the 25 grand I have on me. I'll give you a check for the other 25.
You do that, Charlie. The check will be good, won't it?
Good? Oh, sure.
Hey, well, what's funny, Harry? You two wise guys. You're funny.
Well, what do you mean?
You and your 8 different stables, Charlie. What an idea.
You mean you know about it?
Yeah, I just found out a couple of days ago. Oh, it was kind of clever in a way. But you see, Charlie, you went at it wrong.
What do you mean, Harry?
Charlie bought the horses, but I bought the jockey. I figure you two'd be aiming for that race, and I guessed it would be Surprise you set up to win. As soon as you made the bet, I got on the phone, and... do I need to blueprint the operation?
But, Harry, that ain't honest.
Isn't it? No. I'll take that check, Charlie. And if it bounces, so will you. From a 20th floor window.
How do you like that? Odds on Harry had played me for a sucker. Me, Charlie Ruffing, honored graduate from the School of Experience. So what did I do about it? 2 hours later, Figures and me went on a plane heading out over the deep blue ocean.
Gee, Charlie, there ain't nothing under us but water. I never knew there was so much water.
Well, now you know.
How far is it to the nearest land? How far, huh?
About 1.5 miles.
Oh, that near? Well, I guess I could swim that far. Which direction, Charlie?
Straight down. Shut up, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but Charlie...
Oh, yeah, what is it?
But why are we flying to Europe? Well, we've been moving so fast, I ain't be able to figure it out yet.
I thought it was obvious. We gave odds on Harry a bad check for 25 grand, didn't we?
Yeah, I guess we did.
And what'll he do when it bounces?
Well, he'll come looking for us. And he won't be feeling friendly.
No. So with my last dough, we buy tickets for Paris, France. Always heard it's cheap to live there. And it's a long ways away from odds on Harry. Once we get there, well, we'll just have to figure a new racket. So we reach Paris and get rooms in a flea bag of a hotel. And I think and think and think. And I haven't an idea. Well, I'm sitting in a little cafe with a glass of wine in front front of me wondering if jail or starvation is better when Figures brings up a pal he's met someplace. Well, Figures never worries. He can't read, so the news and the papers don't bother him. And he hasn't brains enough to worry on his own account.
Charlie, I want you to meet the Count. Count Alessandro. This is my pal, Charlie.
It is a pleasure. Well, sit down, Count. Are you French?
Well, I am part French, part Swiss, part Belgian, part Italian.
Well, a man of parts, huh? Have a drink.
You're most kind.
Garçon, another bottle of wine. Well, what's your racket, Count?
Pardon?
What's your game? How do you make a living?
Well, he's an inventor, Charlie.
Oh, an inventor, huh? Any money in it?
Hélas, no.
Oh, here's your wine. So, have a drink. What do you invent, Count?
You want to know what, Charlie? He's invented a machine for making money.
What kind of money?
Any kind of money, my friend. French, English, American.
Well, then why aren't you rich?
I dare not use my own invention. I must confess it, too timid.
Oh?
I am afraid of the police. But I live in hopes of meeting someone who will know how to cash out, as you say in America.
Well, Count, you're beginning to interest me. I suspect you're trying to work a racket on me. But just the same, I'll take a gander at this money-making machine of yours. I figured this little Count Alessandro, as he called himself, was a phony. But I didn't have anything better to do, so I let him lead me in Figures to a room about as big as a mousetrap. And there he showed me a couple of big tanks full of some kind of green liquid. And a gadget like a camera, only with 3 lenses instead of 1.
There, monsieur. I call it the photographic duplicator. It will duplicate anything printed or engraved, even the money.
Especially money. Hey, show Charlie those French bills you turned out, Count.
Oui, in my pocket. You see, Monsieur Charlie, 1,000-franc notes.
Uh-huh. Hey, they look good. Boy, they look very good.
Yes.
Can you spend them?
Oh, but yes. Except I am so timid. I'm afraid of the police. I am afraid to enlist aid from les Apaches, our French gangsters.
Oh?
I have this wonderful invention. I don't even know what to do with it.
Now, don't start weeping. You said something about American money. Let's see you make me some.
Gladly, monsieur, gladly. But I need an American bill to start.
I knew there was a catch in it, the old money switch. Come on, Figures, let's get out of here.
No, now, wait a second, Charlie. The Count is on the level. All he needs is a $1 bill. You see, that's to get the right paper. Then he needs a 10 to photograph, and that's all. And you get the 10 back.
I'll bet I do. Come on. We got business elsewhere.
I do not blame you, monsieur. Do I look like a great inventor? No. I am, how you say it, a mess. I have no courage. I am part French, part Swiss, part Belgian.
And part phony.
Now, I'll put up the dough, Charlie. You just watch. Okay, Count. Now, here's a 1 and a 10. Do your stuff.
So I watched. Figures gave Count Alessandro a $1 bill. The Count dipped it in the tank, sloshed it around a bit, and it came out snow white. Just blank paper.
Now he's got genuine paper to work with. You see, Charlie? Okay, Count. Turn it into a 10.
So next the Count took a $10 bill and put it inside his funny camera. And then he dipped the blank paper that had been a 1 into a green solution. He took it out, dried it, and then he put it inside the camera, too. Turned on a bright light for about 5 seconds and took it out again. It was still blank.
Sure, it's still blank, Charlie. That's got to be developed, like a photograph. Go ahead. Show him, Count.
So the Count dipped the blank bill into a red solution. He sloshed it around. Gradually, it started to darken. It became light green, and then dark green. Then he took it out and he handed it to me. It was a $10 bill. So good, even a tax collector would have accepted it.
There, you see, Charlie? Here's my $10 bill, and here's the...
Photographic duplicate.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same, even the serial number.
Hey, Maybe you got something here.
Sure, we got two $10 bills where we only had one. And the extra one is genuine, too, Charlie. That's the first genuine counterfeit ever made.
You see, Mr. Charlie, it's a great invention, yes?
Count, this is the greatest invention since the parimutuel machine. And me and figures are the boys to work it.
Charlie, I've been figuring.
Yeah?
Anything bigger than 100 is hard to pass. Anything smaller takes too long to add up the big dough.
That's right.
So we should concentrate on hundreds. Now, $1 million is a nice round figure.
I'll say. So round, so firm, so fully packed.
Yeah, well, it takes 10,000 hundreds to make $1 million. Now, to get the right paper for 10,000 bills, we got to start with 10,000 singles.
Mm-hmm.
The count bleaches them white.
Huh?
He photographs hundreds on the paper, and we got $1 million in genuine counterfeit dough.
Oh, keep talking. I love to hear big figures like that.
Yeah, but where are we going to get the 10,000 singles?
Well, why not start smaller? Say a couple of grand at a time.
Oh, now, Charlie, I ain't so bright. I don't know how to read, but I do know something. And one is the Count is a scared pigeon. He's the nervous kind, you see? And we got to pull one big deal, and we got to pull it fast.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, we'll get busy tomorrow. When there's a deal to be pulled, I work fast. The next day, I took my last $200 to American Express and got singles for them. And then me and figures called on Count Alessandro again.
My pal Charlie is ready to work with you, Count. How fast can you turn out the dough?
Monsieur, I am not positive I wish to continue this affair. During the night, I began thinking about if we are caught, prison is not a nice place.
No, we won't be caught. All you have to do is bleach $1 bills and turn them into hundreds.
Yes, but...
I have 200 singles here. First, we'll turn them all into tens, like we did last night. That'll give us $2,000. We'll exchange that for singles, 2,000 of them, and we're off to the races. All right, come on, start the machinery, Count. Let's get going. We'll dedicate the Charlie Ruffing Private Mint. Well, we worked as fast as we could. It took a week to turn those singles into tens with a Count photographic duplicator. And then I had to exchange those tens for more singles. Well, that was trickier. A sudden flood of American money in Paris might make somebody suspicious. So Figures and I went about it real carefully. We're just about finished before an eagle-eyed cashier at American Express thought he recognized me. I ducked out before he could be sure, but I knew the situation was serious.
What do you mean we got to stay holed up here, Charlie?
I do not like it. The police, they may suspect something.
Nobody suspects anything yet. But we got to play it close to our vests. In other words, these 2,000 singles are all we dare get together.
Yeah, but that'll only give us 200 grand.
Never mind. Get me back to the good old USA with $200,000 in the Count's formula, and in a year I'll own the joint. Figures and I rented the room next to the Count, and we buckled down to business. First, we bleached the 2,000 singles into clean white paper. Then we ran into an obstacle.
Monsieur, I got to say it. We have not provided a $100 bill for me to photograph.
Hey, that's right. What'll we do, Charlie?
Well, we'll just get one, that's all.
Yeah, but we got no cash left. We bleached it all white.
For Pete's sake. Why, you stupid brain.
Wait, monsieur. I recall. We have still in the camera the $10 bill from the last operation.
Well, that's better. Make up about 510, see? That's for expenses and passage money. Once we start making the hundreds, we're not going to develop any of them. They're going to the States with us as clean white paper, photographic paper, see?
Yes.
All right, that way we don't run any risks. And anybody who searches our baggage only finds blank paper. We'll dip the stuff in the Count solution back in New York when we're safe.
Oh, sure. That's smart, Charlie.
All right, now you two get busy. When you got the tens made, go buy a $100 bill someplace. Don't go to a bank. Maybe being alerted or something. Look, there must be a money changing joint handy.
Oui, monsieur. I know one. He's very unscrupulous, but he never asks questions.
Well, then go to him. Figures, you go along. See the count doesn't get gypped.
Yeah.
All right, now get going and let me get a little shut-eye, will you? I'm just dead on my feet. The next morning when I woke up, Charlie Ruffing's private mint was going full blast. While I was asleep, the count had made up 50 tens. He and Figures had bought a $100 bill, and it was in the camera with a blank paper being photographed at the rate of 1 a minute. Oh, $100 a minute. That was the kind of money I'd been aiming for all my life. Well, it took about a week to finish up the job, with me and Figures packing the white paper into a trunk. If a customs inspector looked at it, it was perfectly innocent. But when we got back to my apartment in New York, dipped it in the count solution, it would become 200 grand in money so good it couldn't be told from the original. Figures wanted to develop a few of the hundreds for spending money, but I wouldn't let him touch one of them. I wasn't risking any last-minute slip-up, a raid by the cops or something. Well, we wrapped up the deal, left the count 10 of the blank hundreds for his cut, and we took off by plane with all that wonderful paper and several jugs of developer. The next afternoon, we were safely back in my New York apartment, getting down to business. Okay, Figures. Pour the jug of developer in the basin.
Right, Charlie?
Now, I'll open up this package of paper, and we will develop a little cash.
That sounds good to me, Charlie.
Well, that must be the boy from the delicatessen with the grub I ordered. I'll get it. Just bring it in, we... Oh.
Hello, Charlie. Surprise.
Harry, you...
And a couple of my boys. Come on in, boys. We want to keep this private.
No, wait, Harry. I just got back from Europe. I swung a big deal. I got all the dough I owe you, and more, too.
For your sake, I hope that's true.
Also, I got a deal on, and I want to cut you in on it. But I'd like to talk about it in private. Can't the boys wait outside while we talk?
All right, Charlie. For a couple of minutes. Hey, wait here, boy, but come fast if I call. Now, just what is this deal you mentioned, Charlie? I'll give you 2 minutes to outline it.
I can outline it in 1 minute. How would you like a half interest in the United States Mint? Harry got interested fast. I told him I'd fly back to Europe and bring Count Alessandro and his apparatus here. Harry and his syndicate would arrange for the distribution. Yeah, we could easily push $10 million a year of our special genuine counterfeit. Yeah, that appealed to him.
That sounds good, Charlie. If true.
Harry, we can demonstrate right on the spot. We've got the paper, we've got the developer. Figures.
Yeah, Charlie.
Develop a $100 bill for Harry.
Sure, Charlie.
Well, our first 100, Harry. We'll frame it for a souvenir, huh? How's it coming, Figures?
It's turning green. Hey, you see Charlie there, Harry? Hey.
I'll be a horse's uncle. Hey, I can see the figures in the corner. 100.
Another couple of seconds, it'll be ready, and then I'll try.
So you see, Harry, what a big thing this is? Yeah, we can develop an international syndicate. England, France, Switzerland, Sweden even. Yeah. Why, we'll load everything in sight before we finish.
Okay, it's all done. Here it is, Harry. Hey, that sure does look pretty, doesn't it?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Looks just like... Why, you two-timing chiselers.
Huh?
You double-crossing crooks. What kind of a gag is that?
Something's wrong. Slug him.
I'll hit you two. I'll make you so soft.
Catch him.
Yeah, I got him.
Lower him gently.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, let me see that $100 bill. Oh, for the love of mud.
What, Charlie?
Trouble. Let's go fast down the fire escape.
Gee, it's sure nice here in Mexico City, huh? Yeah, but Charlie, why are we here? What's wrong? You ain't said a word to me since we busted down that fire escape.
Yeah, I was afraid I'd brain you. Look, Figures, look at this $100 bill. Read what it says.
Yeah, well, I can't read, Charlie. You know that. I can read the numbers, though. 100, there's nothing wrong there.
Yeah. But the writing says, Bank of Richmond, $100, Confederate States of America.
Yeah, I thought it's the United.
It is the United States, but the Confederate States existed only during the war between the states.
Oh.
Crooked money changer in Paris pawned it off on you in a cart. Because neither of you could read English, it's an old Confederate bill. We just counterfeited $200,000 in worthless Confederate money. So here I am, stuck in Mexico City. But I got a big deal on, see? I just bought an old map showing where $2 million in Aztec treasures hidden. And if you want to go in with me and you got $10,000 for expenses, it's a deal. We'll clean up yet. And you don't have to worry about me cheating you out of your share. I'm taking a resolution for 1952. Charlie Ruffin isn't taking any more dishonest money. Confederate money, that is.
Too bad about poor Charlie's business ventures, isn't it? He has such brilliant ideas, and they always seem to go wrong.
But some men are like that.
I know a scientist who spent his life perfecting machines that turn gold into lead. And I have a friend, a ghost, who's mortally afraid of people. If you're one of these people for whom things never go right, I suggest you try turning yourself inside out. I can send you a man who... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler. Now you can follow other tense and suspenseful adventures of The Mysterious Traveler in the current issue of The Mysterious Traveler magazine, now available. In our cast with Chuck Webster, William Zuckert, and Albert Oppenheimer, with Maurice Tarplin starred in the title role. Original music under the direction of Emerson Buckley, composed by Richard DuPage. Bill Tonkin speaking. This program came to you from New York. Do you like stories of mystery, of eerie adventure, of things dark and unseen? Stay tuned to Mutual every weekday evening and join the I Love a Mystery listeners. You're sure to love I Love a Mystery. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Coben, and starring two of radio's foremost personalities, Ralph Bell and Chuck Webster, in Key Witness.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we watch an underworld syndicate and the government go in desperate search for the same man. It's the story I call Key Witness. The scene, the penthouse office of Mike Bruno, the nationally known and feared crime syndicate boss. Bruno, a tall, ruggedly built man in his 40s, paces back and forth as his head accountant, Oliver Smith, turns the pages of a ledger, reading the figures before him.
Income from Waterfront Enterprises, period ending July 31st, $42,765.50. Income from Wire Services, period ending July 31st, $71,942.20. From Nightclub Enterprises, same period, $56,713.42. Income...
Okay. That's the income on the books of the government. Now, what are the real figures? You got them in your head?
Of course, Mr. Bruno. Income from Waterfront Enterprises, $103,652.28. From Wire Services, $156,421.10. Nightclub Enterprises, $211,410.28. Liquor distributorships was $87,642.15. Racetrack interests, $48,675.34.
Ah. All right, you got the total?
Yes, sir. $518,731.15.
I sure got a hand of the Oliver. You and that photographic memory of yours. It's a lucky day when we got together.
Be 5 years tomorrow, sir.
5 years tomorrow, huh? And in all that time, you've never forgotten a fact or a figure. Yes, Sir Oliver. The T-men can search high and low. They'll never catch me with a set of books showing the real take. Because it's all in your head. Huh, Oliver?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come in. Ah, hello, Frank. Come on in, come on.
Boss, I gotta talk to you, alone.
Oh, yeah, all right. Oliver, I'll call you when I need you.
Yes, sir. I'll be in my office.
You look worried. What's the matter? Let's have it.
I just got word from the big boy. Treasury men are going after you.
Is it winter dressing, or do they really mean it?
They really mean it. But with all the headlines in the papers, we'll have to make a cleanup. And you're it.
Can't the big boy stop?
No. This is too big even for him. And he says you're on your own.
That's nice. Where's it coming?
The T-men will be here tomorrow morning to seize your books.
Don't waste any time, do they? Tomorrow morning, huh?
Bruno, what are the chances of the books standing up under a real investigation?
Maybe yes, maybe no.
The books don't satisfy them. They start questioning Oliver.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do?
I gotta think.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Bruno?
Yes, Oliver. Have a seat.
Yes, sir.
Now, look, I've just gotten word that the T-men are going to look at our books.
What?
Tomorrow morning, they're coming to get them.
But you've always assured me they'd never look at our books.
Things have changed. You read the papers. They're looking for a fall guy. Me.
And the boss has a way figured out to beat the rap.
The books will stand up until they start asking you questions, Oliver.
Yes, I know.
Now, you're the one man who's got all the answers. The answers are all in your head.
Without you, the T-men wouldn't have a case against the boss.
That's right. All right, Frank, open that suitcase for Oliver.
Okay.
Why, all that money.
$500,000. And it'll all be yours if you do exactly as I say.
Mine?
Yes. I want you to write a letter saying that as treasurer of the corporations, you embezzle large amounts of dough.
What?
That's right. You're to assume all responsibility for the books.
But they'd send me to prison?
No. You're taking it on the lam. There are a couple of countries in the world where you can't be extradited for embezzlement. Denmark's one of them.
Denmark?
Yeah, that's what my attorneys tell me.
That passport you used last year is still good, Oliver.
There's a plane leaving at midnight for Europe. You just have time to write that letter and pack.
But, Mr. Bruno...
Yeah.
If I do as you ask, I'll be an admitted criminal, forced to live abroad the rest of my life.
With $500,000? Oh, what's so bad about that?
And, Oliver, you're forgetting one thing. You filled out the corporation tax returns for me. You'd go to prison with me.
Play it smart, Oliver. $500,000 and a life of ease in Denmark.
You haven't much choice.
No, I don't. Very well, Mr. Bruno. I'll do as you say.
Nah, you're showing good sense. Okay, Oliver, write that letter assuming all responsibility for the dough. I've held out in the government, and when you're finished, I'll send one of the boys along with you to help you pack.
Yes, Mr. Bruno. If you'll excuse me.
Sure.
Which of the boys do you want to take him to the airport?
None of them. I'm not taking any chances on a slip-up. You and me will be taking Oliver to the airport.
Mr. Bruno.
Yeah?
Haven't you taken the wrong road? This isn't the way to the airport.
Relax, Oliver. We got plenty of time to make the airport.
Sure, your plane doesn't leave for another hour.
But we're going in the opposite direction of the airport. Why, at this rate...
All right, shut up.
That's $500,000. Denmark. You never meant it, did you?
You catch on fast.
Now that you have that letter I wrote you, you're going to kill me.
No one lives forever. Easy does it, Oliver.
Where are you taking me?
We stop at the top of the hill, boss.
Right.
Mr. Bruno, you can't kill me. Not after 5 years of loyal service. Haven't I always done everything you asked without question?
Take care of him, Frank.
No, don't do...
He'll be out for at least 10 minutes. That'll give us more than enough time.
Yeah. Which spot the other car?
A clump of trees up ahead, out of sight.
Good. It's lucky traffic's light on this road.
That's why I picked it.
Okay, let's finish the job. Put him behind the wheel.
I got him. Easy. There we are.
All right, I'll release the brake. Start pushing. I'll steer it.
Just a few more feet to the edge.
You say it's 200 feet to the bottom?
Yeah. Nothing but rock down there.
Okay, she's starting to roll. There she goes.
Hear that?
Yeah. But we're going down to the wreck to make sure. I'm not taking any chances. Come on.
Look at that car, completely wrecked. We didn't have to bother coming down here.
Maybe not. Is he still behind the wheel?
I can't tell you. Waddles. No, he isn't behind the wheel.
He's not in back either.
Let's look around. He was probably thrown clear of the car.
I don't see him.
He's got to be around. Hey.
What's that you're picking up?
His wallet. Some keys.
His wallet? That wreck didn't finish him off. He must have gotten away.
A 200-foot drop. He couldn't have.
No, then where is he? I tell you, he came out of it alive. He's on the loose.
Well, he couldn't have gotten far. Come on, let's look for him.
In the dark. We never find him. Let's get back up the road. Next tavern's half a mile down the road. I've got to get to a phone. I've read him. Give me Waverly 6678. That's right.
Bruno, what are you doing? You gonna round up some of the boys?
Yeah, that's right. Hello, Mac. The boss. Yeah. Now listen closely. I don't want any slip-ups. I'm at Nick's Tavern on Highway 37A. Yeah. I round up half a dozen of the boys in a hurry. Send a couple of them to Meadville and Lewistown, both on 37A. That's right. Have a couple of more boys drive along 37A between Meadville and Lewistown, yeah. Now, they're to pick up Oliver Smith. You heard it right the first time. There'll be a 10 grand reward to the guys who find him. Yeah. Now get the boys on it, but fast. We gotta get him, Frank. If he ever gets to the police...
Oh, the odds are all in our favor. Probably pretty badly hurt wandering around in a daze. Why, for all we know, he might have crawled a few hundred yards and died in the underbrush.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping.
Oliver hasn't any money or moxie. Come on now, don't worry, boss. He isn't going to get to the cops.
Yeah, sure. Come on, let's get back to my office. What time do you got, Frank?
The time? A few minutes after 9.
They've had since midnight to find him. 9 hours. Not a trace of him.
Hey, maybe they found him. Hello? Yeah, Mac? No sign of him, huh?
Give me that phone. Mac. How many boys you got out now? 12. You can't even find one broken down accountant? If you search for the woods, the underbrush. Well, all right, do it again. Tell the boys the reward has been up to 25 grand. Yeah, that's right, 25 grand.
Oh, will you relax, boss? Will you just take it easy?
Take it easy, take it easy. You know what it means if Oliver spills the fence? Yeah. Oh, I say. Have him come in. It's George Tonelli of the Treasury Department. How are you, Mr. Tonelli? Come on in.
Thank you, Bruno.
This is my associate, Frank Stevens.
Hello. How do you do? Bruno, I have an order here empowering me to seize the books of all your corporations.
What for? I pay all my taxes.
The Treasury Department just wants to double check. Make sure.
Well, that's the way you want it. Okay, you can have the books. I got nothing to hide.
Good. Where's your head accountant? Oliver Smith.
Oh, he's out of town for a few days, Mr. Tonelli. Personal business of some sort. He should be back by Friday.
Oh, I want to talk to him. After we've gone over the books.
Oh, yeah, sure, I understand. Mm-hmm. Miss Daniels, will you see to it that Mr. Tonelli's given all the books of our various corporations? That's right. All right, Mr. Tonelli. They'll be given to you on your way out.
Oh, thanks, Bruno. Oh, by the way, I heard a police flash over my radio while I was driving here. Seems a car registered in your name was found wrecked off Highway 37A.
One of my cars?
Yes. Didn't you know about it?
No. Huh. Well, after all, I got 6 cars. One of my employees must have taken it without my permission. Or it may have been stolen. Was anyone found in it?
I'm sure we haven't met before.
No, but I recognized you from your picture. Sit down.
Thank you.
Yes, like I always say, for more cops like you, we'd have nothing to worry about. I've been following your career for years.
How did you like the Crane case?
I don't think I remember that one.
Oh, you must. Their plant was held up back in 1946. As I recall, the bandits got away with $90,000.
That was a lot of money in those days.
It still is. At any rate, a Freddie King was apprehended.
Freddie King, huh?
Yes. Would you like to know what happened to him?
I can hardly wait.
He pleaded guilty and was sentenced from 5 to 10. Now, he might have done better had he been willing to divulge who his Confederates were or the whereabouts of the loot.
Well, what did happen to it?
Well, that's where you come in. I suspect you wound up with the proceeds of that robbery.
Me?
You and Ben Benton. Then when Freddie got out, you gave him his share. In lead.
Lead?
Oh, didn't you hear? He's dead.
Not good old Freddie.
Why, you're all broken up, aren't you?
Sure. He was a wonderful boy. Of course, I only know him casually.
Well, at that, I'm doing better with you than I did with Benton. He denied even knowing Freddie.
Benton said he don't know Freddie? He's a liar.
But not you.
No, you ain't.
Hello. Boss, this is Frenchie.
Yeah, Frenchy, anything new?
You still offering 25 G's for Oliver Smith?
You find him?
What about the 25 G's?
You'll get it. Do you know where Oliver is?
Yeah, I found his hideout. I'm calling from a drugstore in Meadville. Corner of Main and Vine.
Corner of Main and Vine. Sit tight, Frenchy. We'll be there in an hour.
Slow down, boss. There's Frenchie on the corner.
Yeah, I see him. Get in, Frenchy.
Sure, boss.
All right, what's the story?
Smith is here in town. He's locked up in the town jail.
What?
Look, the cops have him? Yes and no.
Come on, spill it.
The local jail is a dump, 4 cells. Just on a hunch, I looked in. There's 2 guys in there. One is a broken-down bum. The other, Oliver Smith, looking like a bum himself. And I done some nosing him around. Smith was arrested for vagrancy.
Arrested for vagrancy? Under what name?
Haven't been able to find out.
Don't you get it, Frank? Oliver's in there under a phony name. He's laying low so that neither the feds or we can find him. After he's done 10 or 20 days of vagrancy, he'll try to disappear in act.
Yeah, that must be it. They'd give it his right name, there'd be feds all over the place.
All right, Frenchie. You say there's just Smith and some old bum in the lockup, huh?
That's right, boss.
Point the way, Frenchie. We're driving over that jail. That's it over there? That 2x4?
Yeah, that's it.
Where's the sheriff at this time?
He lives in that white frame house next to the jail. I saw him go in his house an hour ago.
Well, he's probably through for the day, and just the 2 prisoners there.
Yeah. Frank, you got a key that would open those cell doors?
Oh, sure. Those old locks aren't any trouble.
Good. Frenchie.
Yeah.
You got a knife?
Yeah?
That's good. I want you to take care of Oliver. Right now.
Look, boss, it's a dangerous setup. What with the sheriff just a few yards away from the jail, and that bum there's a witness?
You can wrap the whole thing up in a minute flat.
No, I can't Frank do it. This is more in his
Because
line.
Smith knows Frank. He'd start yelling the moment he saw him. He doesn't know you.
Yeah, maybe not, but...
If you want that 25 grand, you'll do it. In fact, you'll do it because I'm telling you to.
Okay.
Here's the key, Frenchie. You won't have any trouble with those locks.
Just give it to him. Fast and clean.
Who are you? I'm the sheriff's assistant. He told me to bring you over to the house.
The sheriff doesn't have an assistant, fella.
Shut up, you bum. You say the sheriff? What? A knife? Yeah, a knife.
Freeze, you.
What? A gun?
Yeah. Don't let the costume fool you. Treasury Department. Okay, Sheriff.
A frame, huh?
Well, looks like you were right, Mr. Tonelli. So you got your killer, eh?
Yes. Throw this guy into a cell, Sheriff, after you've taken that key from him. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he's been gone almost 5 minutes, boss. What could be taking him so long?
I don't know.
What, do you think the sheriff might have picked Frenchie up?
Frenchie isn't that dumb, but should have been back by now.
Well, let's get out of here. What the?
Hello, Bruno.
Tonelli.
Yes, small world. Keep your hands where I can see them. That's better. Both of you. Out of the car.
Where are you taking us?
I want you to meet an old friend. Come on. Straight through that door, Bruno.
Now, look, Tonelli, I'm no two-bit hoodlum you can parade around at guns point. I want to call my attorneys.
Now, no one's going to deny you your legal rights. Here's the gunman you sent in to kill Oliver Smith. Right, Frenchie?
I don't know what you're talking about. Smith's an old friend of mine. I just dropped in to see him.
Sure. With a 6-inch knife. Take a look, Bruno. There's Smith in his cell. See him?
Yeah. I see him. And he sees me.
It's no use trying to throw a scare into him, Bruno. Smith has already made a statement. He's now in protective custody.
Mr. Tonelli figured you'd come looking for Smith.
Yes, and my hunch was right. Can we use your office, Sheriff?
Yeah, sure thing. This way.
Take a seat, Bruno. You too, Stevens. Close the door, Sheriff.
Right.
Bruno, I've got your fall guy, Oliver Smith, who's made a complete statement. On that alone, I could send you up for 20 years.
Yeah? I got pretty good attorneys.
Yes, but not good enough to overcome Smith's testimony. In addition, I could get you on an attempted murder charge. I have a hunch your friend Frenchie will sing.
Now, look, I want to call my attorney.
However, I'm willing to make a deal with you.
A deal?
Yeah. If the government has to go to trial with you, it'll cost $500,000 to convict you. And a great deal of time. However, if you pleaded guilty, saved the government time and money, I think the court would go easy on you.
How easy?
Well, you'd have to pay the tax penalties, of course, and do 10 years. 7 with good behavior.
I don't know.
If you're smart, you'll plead guilty. You know that with Oliver Smith's statement and testimony on the stand, the government couldn't lose.
I've got to think it over.
There's no time. It's either yes or no. Now make up your mind.
Okay, I'll plead guilty. I know when the odds are against me.
Now you're being smart. I'll get one of my men in. You can make a complete statement. All right, Bruno. You've read your statement over. Sign here.
Now, look, if I sign, you guarantee the limit will be 10 years.
You have my word.
Okay.
That does it. Hey, Sheriff, you bring in Oliver Smith. I'll be taking him back to the city with me.
Sure, Mr. Tonelli.
When did you find Smith?
The sheriff picked him up at 6 this morning, after the accident. He was wandering along Main Street.
Did he tell the sheriff who he was?
No.
Here's Smith now, Mr. Tonelli.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, Bruno, Smith couldn't have told the sheriff who he was, even if he wanted to.
What do you mean?
When the sheriff picked Smith up and questioned him, Smith couldn't answer.
Couldn't answer?
That's right. The sheriff called in a doctor. An examination revealed that Smith had amnesia.
Amnesia?
Yes. He got it from a severe head blow he suffered in the accident. It's a case of complete amnesia.
But if he's got amnesia, that means he doesn't remember anything of the past. He couldn't have made a statement to you or testified against me.
No, he couldn't. And without Smith's testimony, we had no case.
That build-up you gave me, it was a bluff, a lie.
Yes. But justice has been served. And that's the important thing. Isn't it, Bruno?
This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our trip? Poor Mike Bruno. It seems some days nothing you do turns out well. How was he to know that Oliver Smith was a victim of amnesia? Some people simply die easily. Well, poor Mike is now doing 10 years at a federal prison. As for Oliver Smith, well, to date he hasn't any part of his memory back, and he never may. Which reminds me of another story. It concerns a young and enterprising undertaker who developed the unique idea of soliciting customers before they were dead. As a matter of fact, he... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler. Now you can enjoy other tense and exciting tales of The Mysterious Traveler in the current issue of The Mysterious Traveler magazine, now available. In our cast were Ralph Bell, Chuck Webster, Brett Morrison, and Lawson Zerby, with Maurice Tarplin starred in the title role. Music under the direction of Emerson Buckley, composed by Richard DuPage. The Mysterious Traveler is written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan. Phil Tonkin speaking. This program came to you from New York. Do you like stories of mystery, of eerie adventure, of things dark and unseen? Stay tuned to Mutual every weekday evening and join the I Love a Mystery listeners. You're sure to love I Love a Mystery. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler. Written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan. And starring tonight two of radio's foremost actors, Ralph Bell and Charlotte Holland, in Killer at Large.
This is The Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we drop in on a very clever gentleman. A gentleman who perfected an ingenious plan to be rid of people he disliked without ever having to suffer for it. I call his story Killer at Large. My friend, Mr. Jeffrey Andrews, is temporarily confined to a hospital. So we're going there to meet him. He's just been given a routine checkup by a new staff physician, Dr. French.
Well, Dr. French, how am I?
You seem to be in fine physical shape, Mr. Andrews.
Guess you'll have to be letting me go soon, eh?
Well, I certainly hope so.
Well, I've had a good rest, but I look forward to getting back in the harness again. I'm Andrews First, you know.
Andrews First?
That's the name of my business. You see, my name is Andrews.
Yes?
So I named my firm Andrews First. And all my advertising carried the line. When you think of building materials, think of Andrews First.
Oh, yes. Very clever.
Used to drive my competitors crazy with my advertising. Yes, I pulled off many a smart deal, and I always let the world in on it. After all, what's the use of doing something smart if no one knows about it?
Well, the urge to boast is certainly human.
For instance, you probably don't know why I'm here. Haven't had a chance to study my case yet, I suppose.
No, not in detail.
Oh, then sit down. I'll tell you. It's really one of the cleverest deals I've ever swung. Now, tell me, have you ever wanted to get rid of someone?
Get rid of someone? You mean, kill them?
Exactly. Kill them.
No, I don't believe I have. Why?
Because most people have at one time or another. But they don't do it. They're afraid. Afraid of the law and of being punished.
That's what the law is for. To restrain people's violent impulses.
Exactly. Unless you happen to be smarter than the law, as I was. Because, you see, I figured out how to get rid of not just one person, but of two. Two people I disposed of and can't ever be punished for it.
That's an unusual achievement.
You disapprove? But I'm going to tell you how I did it. As I said, what's the use of being clever if people don't know about it? And since the law can't touch me, why not? To make it clear, Doctor, I'll go back to the very beginning. To that evening when I arrived home from work to find my wife Judith and my best friend and personal physician at that time, Alex Hearn, deep in conversation. They jumped apart guiltily as I entered the room and closed the door.
Oh, Jeff, it's you.
Yes, I left the office early. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Fine, Jeff. And you?
Oh, a little tired. I've been working late quite a bit recently.
Yeah, so Judith was saying. So what's this about you buying a share in a new invention that's going to make you richer than Rockefeller?
I've picked up a half interest in a new system of television, Alex. 3-dimensional television. In color.
Sounds big.
Big. It's colossal, man. It's still in the blueprint stage, but we'll iron the bugs out soon. But what were you two plotting so busily when I came in?
Plotting? Well, dear, we were just talking. Nothing serious.
I was giving Judith a little professional advice, that's all.
Oh, don't you feel well, darling?
It's nothing, Jeff. Nothing at all.
Whatever it is, I want to know about it.
Well, it's just that I've been having headaches lately. That's all.
But why didn't you tell me, Judith?
I didn't want to worry you over nothing, dear.
It's really nothing serious. I've given Judith a prescription that will help her. Well, I think I better run along now. Got another call to make. You take care of yourselves now, both of you.
As Alex left, I knew from his manner he and Judith had not told me the truth. They were keeping some secret from me. Could Judith be seriously ill and they didn't want me to know? Or was it possible Judith and Alex were... No, that couldn't be. A thing like that might happen to other couples, but not to Judith and me. And yet, they were concealing something, and I had to know what. So I took steps to find out.
Mr. Andrews, I'm from the Apex Detective Agency. I have here the report on your wife you asked for.
Yes, please sit down.
Thank you.
What have you learned?
Your wife left the house at 11:30 this morning. She caught the noon train into town. From the station, she went directly to the Union Department Store.
Whom did she meet there?
Oh, she didn't meet anyone, Mr. Andrews. She just looked around, then had lunch in the restaurant. But afterwards...
Yes, go on.
Well, she made a telephone call. A few minutes later, she's picked up at the entrance by a man in a dark green car.
You got the license number, I hope?
Yes, sir. The car belongs to Alexander Hearn, who lives...
Never mind. I know his address.
We've handled hundreds of such cases, Mr. Andrews. I suppose you'll want me to keep following it till I get all the necessary evidence.
No. I know what you're thinking. It's not so.
Yeah, and naturally I sympathize, Mr. Andrews. Of course, it's a shock to learn your wife is deceiving you, and...
Why, you...
Stop! You're joking me.
It isn't so. Do you hear? My wife loves me. There's nothing between them. Nothing!
I didn't mean anything. I just thought you'd want me to...
Get out of here. There's nothing between them. How easily I'd said that. And yet, why should Judith meet Alex secretly in town? Where had they gone after they had eluded the detective? I wanted to trust her, but what was their secret? I had to find out. That night, when I returned home, I casually questioned Judith. What did you do with yourself today, darling?
Oh, I got so bored, I went into town for some inexpensive window shopping.
Oh, why didn't you phone me? I'd have taken you to lunch.
Well, I knew how busy you were, dear, so I ate by myself.
What did you do after lunch? Taking a show?
No, just window shopped. Then came home on the 4 o'clock train.
Sounds like a lonely day. You, should have taken someone with you.
Well, I didn't decide to go until the last moment. Anyway, I like to window shop alone. Jeff, you look so strange. Aren't you feeling well?
I'm all right. Just a little tired.
Oh, poor darling. You're working much too hard these days. You must stop it, Jeff. Really, you must.
I settled down, pretending to read, but my mind was spinning tormentedly. I didn't decide to go until the last moment. Anyway, I liked to window shop alone. How easily her answers had come, as though she'd rehearsed them. But they were lies, all of them. Could the detective have been right and I wrong? No, I couldn't believe that. I had no proof. I had to have faith in Judith. I made myself believe I was doing her an injustice, but the very next evening, I found Alex at the house again. He and Judith were walking in the garden, speaking together in low tones, so secretly they didn't even notice me.
Now, Judith, you must listen to me.
No, Alex, I won't.
I tell you, we can't go on like this.
But if we're careful, Jeff may never find out.
But he's bound to. People will begin to notice and talk. Sooner or later, Jeff will know that something's wrong. And the longer we wait, the worse it'll be in the end.
I know. Oh, Alex, I can't bear to hurt him.
Oh, Judith, I understand how you feel, but it can't be helped. Now, I have a plan worked out that can't fail.
A plan, Alex?
2 psychiatrists who are friends of mine will sign the papers, and Jeff will be quietly committed to a private sanitarium. We'll make him think it's just for a short rest. He'll never suspect a thing.
Oh, Alex, I couldn't.
But we can't go on hiding the truth from him like this. Believe me, Judith, it's the only way out.
All right, I'll do whatever you say. But we mustn't let Jeff suspect what's happening.
And I'd had faith in her. I thought I was misjudging her when all along she and Alex had been scheming to railroad me into a sanitarium. Oh, it was a clever plan. Alex could manage it through his professional connections, and Judith would become administrator of my fortune. I almost let them know I'd overheard them. And then I got control of myself. There was a better way to handle the situation. I had to think about it and decide what to do. So I slipped quietly away. And a little later, I took Judith out for a drive as though I suspected nothing. But as I drove, I pondered how best to punish them.
What are you thinking about, Jeff? You've hardly said a word all evening. Jeff, I'm speaking to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I'm afraid my mind was on business.
You really are working too hard these days.
Oh, I'm not working that hard. Too bad we couldn't persuade Alex to come with us tonight. He's always such fun when he forgets he's a doctor.
That's because he puts his work completely out of his mind when he gets a chance to relax.
I suppose it would be better if I were like Alex.
Of course not, dear. I like you just as you are, Jeff, silent moods and all. I wouldn't want you changed.
She lied. I knew she was lying. By now, I found it impossible to believe a word she said. I had too much evidence to the contrary.
Of course, Mr. Andrews, it's a shock to learn your wife is two-timing you.
But if we're careful, Jeff may never find out.
I have a plan worked out that can't fail. Two psychiatrists who are friends of mine will sign the papers, and Jeff will be quietly committed to a private sanitarium.
I like you just as you are, Jeff. Silent moods and all. I wouldn't want you changed.
How easily she said that. How smoothly she continued her deception. Bitter rage burned inside me, and deliberately I stepped hard on the throttle. We went faster and faster until Judith became frightened.
Jeff, why are you going so fast? We're doing more than 60, and there are a lot of curves in the road.
Oh, don't worry, Judith. I'm a good driver.
Yes, but darling, we're almost up to 70. Now, Jeff, please slow down. We'll be killed.
Too bad Alex isn't with us. He'd enjoy this.
Now, Jeff, please, darling, slow down. There's a crossroads ahead, then a curve. Jeff, you'll kill us both.
I kept my foot hard on the throttle. I knew there was a curve ahead, and behind it a 300-foot drop into a canyon. I made up my mind. I'd drive over the cliff and end everything for both of us. If only I'd had Alex in the car, everything would be perfect. He deserved to die, too. At the thought, my mind cleared abruptly. How stupid it would be to kill myself and leave Alex unpunished when I knew perfectly just how to make him pay. I slowed the car as I planned all my moves. They were going to try to commit me to a home, were they? All right. I'd fall in with their plot. I'd actually help them by pretending to be unbalanced. I'd make it easy for them, and in a few days, a week perhaps, we'd see who was the cleverer. We'd see. Alex, I tell you, there's millions in this new system of television, maybe billions.
Darling, you're speaking so loudly. Everyone in the restaurant is watching.
Well, let them. What does it matter? Nothing can stop me now, man. In 5 years, I'll be one of the wealthiest men in the world. With my genius for organization...
Jeff, Judith tells me that last week you didn't go to your office at all. You just sat around the house and wouldn't say a word to anyone.
Oh, well, you know how it is, Alex. Sometimes a man feels a little blue. All geniuses are like that. Now, when I set up my new television network, I'll revolutionize world communication. I'll have a monopoly no one will be able to buck. And furthermore... I went on talking, seeing Alex's eyes narrow as he watched me. He saw in me all the symptoms of the manic depressive, the exaggerated ideas of importance, the extravagant dreams of wealth. Soon others would notice, my business associates, my friends, the servants. When that time came, I could count on a visit from Alex, bringing his psychiatrist friends to look me over. Yes, that visit would be coming very soon now. Very soon.
Jeff, darling, Alex has come to see you. He has two friends with him.
Hello, Jeff, old man. How are you?
Oh, just fine, Alex. For the last month, I've been working on the plans for my television network. It's going to be the biggest thing of the century.
Jeff, I want to talk to you. and I want you to meet some men I brought with me.
Oh, Alex, I've no time to talk with strangers.
They're two doctors, close friends of mine.
Oh, what do they want? With my plans taking up all my time,
They're here because of your new project, Jeff. You see, Judith has been afraid you're working too hard these days.
I'm probably just being silly, darling. But I would like you to have a thorough examination before really starting on your new enterprise. You don't mind, do you?
Oh, I haven't time to bother with such things, dear. I have too much to do.
Please, Jeff.
Oh, well. All right, but it mustn't take too long now.
They're waiting in the hall. I'll bring them right in.
At last, my patience was being rewarded. Alex and Judith's scheme was working perfectly, and so was mine. Alex brought in his friends and introduced them as Doctors Carlton and Marshall. Without waiting for them to question me, I plunged into an excited description of my plans. As I went on and on, I saw them look at each other and nod slightly. Then, as though they were satisfied, Dr. Marshall brought the conversation to a close.
That'll be enough for the time being, Mr. Andrews. I should like to continue this discussion another time.
But, Doctor, I haven't finished telling you of my plans yet.
You need some rest, Jeff.
Yes, dear, you look so tired. Let me take you to your room.
Well, all right, Judith, but I can't rest long. I have too much work to do.
Alex, watch him carefully. There should soon be a definite change. The elated mood should give way to despondency. After that...
I couldn't help overhearing Dr. Marshall's words as Judith led me out of the room. Alex, watch him carefully. There should soon be a definite change. And he was correct. I knew the right symptoms just as well as he did. So the next day I became depressed, refused to speak, claimed that I was being persecuted, and even pretended to cry in self-pity. And the following morning, Alex and his two friends were back again.
Good morning, Mr. Andrews.
You remember Dr. Marshall, Jeff? And Dr. Carlton?
Jeff, say hello to your guest.
No. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Huh? The other day, you were highly enthused about your new business venture. Don't you want to tell me more about it?
No. No one cares about my plans. I'm alone, all alone. Everyone's against me.
Jeff.
Do you feel this way often? I mean that everyone's against you and life isn't worth living?
Yes. How did you know?
Well, that's because I'm your friend. You can tell me all about it.
You don't know what it's like. To be all alone, to have no friends, to know that everyone hates you, wants to hurt you.
Yes, I understand. Well, I'll see that no one hurts you. Wouldn't you like to go someplace where you'd be safe? Where you'd be surrounded by people who were your friends, wanted to help you?
Yes, I'd like that, but there isn't any such place.
I think I know one. But we've talked long enough for now.
Shall I have Judith take him in the garden?
Yes, I think it will do him good.
Judith, perhaps a little fresh air would make Jeff feel better. Why don't you take him for a walk in the garden?
Yes, of course. Come, give me your hand, darling. We'll go out in the sunshine for a while. That's it.
I'll call you when we're ready.
Yes, all right, Alex.
I let Judith lead me into the gardens. Through the library windows, I could see Alex and the two psychiatrists. Alex wasted no time getting them to sign the papers that would commit me to a home from which he and Judith would see I never emerged. But he didn't know that the signing of those papers meant my scheme had succeeded, not his. After a few minutes, Alex came to the door and called.
Judith, will you bring Jeff in now?
Yes, all right. Come along, dear.
All right, I'll come.
Oh, Jeff, we've been talking things over, and Dr. Marshall knows a place where you would be very happy.
Yes, Mr. Andrews. Small rest home upstate. You'll be able to get a good rest there among friends.
Anything, I don't care.
No reason you shouldn't go up today. Alex can drive you up this afternoon.
I don't care when we go. Nothing makes any difference to me.
And, darling, in a little while you'll be home again. Feeling so much better.
Come, Jeff. Judith and I will help you pack.
Yes, give me your hand now, Jeff, and we'll go with Alex to your room and pack your things.
And we'll go with Alex to your room to pack your things. My best friend and my loving wife. And they couldn't wait to get rid of me. But I was smiling to myself in triumph as Judith opened the door to my room.
Come in, dear. Now, you just sit down and we'll take care of everything.
Now, you must have courage, Judith. It's almost over. I think 2 bags will be enough for now. If Jeff needs anything later, you can take it to him.
Yes, Alex. Jeff, dear, what suits would you like? Jeff, what are you looking in that golf bag for?
Just something I've been keeping here. I've got it now.
Jeff, a revolver.
Yes. And fully loaded.
Well, what do you want the gun for, Jeff? Here, give it to me. I'll take care of it for you.
Stay where you are. That's better. I want to talk to you. I've been waiting quite a while for this moment.
What are you saying?
Oh, come, Judith. You don't have to pretend anymore.
Jeff, let me have that gun.
I want you to stand still or I'll shoot.
Alex, he means it.
Yes, I do mean it. Your little plot's been an extremely clever one.
Our little plot? What do you mean?
The idea of having me committed so you two could be rid of me. But you must admit I did help it along by my cooperation.
Jeff, what are you talking about?
It's no use pretending anymore, my dear. I've known everything for weeks. Ever since I overheard the two of you talking in the garden one evening.
You heard us talking in the garden? Then that was why you almost killed yourself and me that night when you were driving so fast.
Yes. I changed my mind because that would have left dear Alex still alive.
Jeff, you don't understand that conversation you overheard.
My best friend and my loving wife. Well, you'll be together without me, all right. But we'll be in different worlds.
You're mad, really mad.
Of course I am, my dear, of course. Haven't 2 reputable doctors signed papers testifying to the fact? Which in the eyes of the law relieves me of responsibility for my actions.
You aren't going to...
But I am.
Oh, no, Jeff.
Yes, my dear, yes. I'm going to give you both what you deserve. Death.
Oh, no, Jeff, no. You're wrong, darling. You must
There's
listen
nothing
to
to listen. But I shall be as considerate as possible, my dear. I shall punish Alex first.
No, Jeff. We have been keeping a secret from you, but it's not the secret you think. You're wrong about the whole affair.
I don't think so, Alex.
Jeff, put that gun down. Jeff! Jeff!
But... Jeff, you should have listened. You...
You've killed him.
Yes, Judith. And now it's your turn. I shall be lonely without you. I loved you so much.
Jeff, darling, you mustn't kill me because you're wrong. I still love you, I do.
I wish I could believe that, but I can't.
Jeff, you've misinterpreted what you heard. Really, you have.
I think not,
Now,
Judith.
Jeff, please give me time enough to explain everything.
Forever would not be time enough, my dear, and I would rather not think of you dying with lies upon your lips.
But they're not lies. No, Jeff, no, put down that gun. Dr. Marshall, help!
No one can help you. You see, the door is locked. It'll all be over long before anyone can get here. Now look into my eyes, Judy.
Dr. Marshall, Dr. Colton!
What is it, Mrs. Andrews?
Break the door down, quickly!
Come on, Coffee. It's your fire.
They can't get into this room in time, my dear. Now look into my eyes. It's because I loved you so much that I had to do this. Now, goodbye, Judith. So, Doctor, that's how I did it. I pulled the trigger just as Dr. Marshall and Dr. Carlton broke the door down. Too late to save Judith. And you see the beauty of my plan, of course. It was perfectly safe. I was certified as being of unsound mind, so I couldn't be punished. Oh, naturally, for the last 2 years I've been confined here in this institution, but I haven't minded it, really. I've been gradually responding to treatment. I've been careful not to respond too fast, you see. And soon you'll be letting me go as cured. I'll be free as air. Now I ask you, Doctor, wasn't that rather clever?
It might be considered so, Mr. Andrews. But why have you told me all this? Aren't you afraid I'll report it?
The police will never believe it. Besides, they could do nothing if they did. No, Doctor, I'm in the clear. I'll start a new life and take up my plans where I left off. That television invention is still waiting to be developed.
Hello. May we come in?
Doc Marshall said it'd be all right for us to speak to Jeff today. Well, hello, old man. How are you?
Judy. Alex. Oh, no.
Darling, I'm so glad to be able to see you again at last.
No.
Now,
You're not real. You're dead.
Mr. Andrews.
Send them away. They've no right to come back. I killed them. They're dead.
Mr. Andrews, calm yourself, please. I'll take care of them. I'll send them back where they belong. Please, both of you, come outside.
They have to go back. They have to stay in their graves. The dead must stay buried.
Yes, of course, Jeff. We won't bother you again. Come, Judith.
They can't be allowed to disturb me with the dead. I won't stand for it. I tell you, I won't stand for it. I won't stand for it.
Oh, Alex, he still isn't well.
We'd never have come, Dr. French, but we thought he was almost well.
Yes, so did we. But we were wrong. Just temporary improvement. He still believes that you were plotting against him and that he killed you for it.
But you understand the truth, don't you?
I think I do, yes.
Well, he overheard us talking about his mental condition and trying to decide what to do about it. And he completely misinterpreted what he heard. And then he tried to shoot us and had to be brought here. And...
Of course, Mrs. Andrews. But I'm afraid we'll never be able to make him believe the truth.
Oh, Doctor, no.
You see, in his mind, he's killed you. As far as he's concerned, you're dead. I'm afraid you must never see him again. He'll live out his life here, believing he has committed a murder for which he cannot be punished.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Well, Jeff's idea looked like a good one for a while, didn't it? But I don't advise you to try it. You might wind up the way Jeff did. In fact, my advice is to forget the whole thing. You'll be much happier. There's no such thing as the perfect crime. Which brings me to my story for next week. Death has two faces. It's about a gentleman who discovers a new way to die, in which he lets someone else do all the work, and he... Oh, you'll have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler, with a title role played by Maurice Tarplin. Others in our cast were Ralph Bell, Charlotte Holland, Nat Poland, and Chester Stratton. All characters in our story were fictitious, and any resemblance to the actual persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Original music composed and played by Al Finelli. Phil Tonkin speaking. This is the world's largest network, the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler. Written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring tonight three of radio's most distinguished actors, Scott Tennyson, Frank Behrens, and Agnes Young in Killer, Come Home.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. For tonight, we have a different kind of story. We're traveling into a remote section of the Kentucky mountains, where the ties of kinship are stronger than the law, to join two escaping convicts. It's the story I call Killer Come Home. In a lonely section of the mountains, two men crouch in the brush. Far in the distance, they can hear the siren of the state penitentiary from which they've just escaped that evening.
Listen to Waylon Willie. They're sure anxious to get us back, Harry.
They're not getting us, Missouri. We're not going back.
I sure hope you're right, Harry. I'd sure admire to know just where we are going.
We're heading for Deep Valley.
Deep Valley, where's that?
Cross 4 ridges and you come to it. It's just about lost back in the hills.
And what's that for us?
My old home. My ma and my brother Tom. They'll hide us out.
You sure of that?
Blood's thicker than the law in these parts. Not that brother Tom and me ever got along good. But he'll hide us out. Or else.
Or else what, Harry?
Or else Ma... Listen.
Huh? What is it?
I hear a car coming up this road.
A car?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I can hear it now, too. That's an old jalopy. Duck down, let it go by.
Nothing of the sort. We're going to stop it.
Stop it? You crazy? Every one of these old hillbillies have to have a shotgun beside him.
You leave this to me.
Okay, Harry, you're calling the cards.
Now, I'll talk to him. You slip up from behind. Use a rock.
I got one right here.
All right, then come on. Hey there! Stop that car, huh?
What is it? What do you want?
I'm a deputy sheriff. There's a prisoner escaped from Stone Mountain. We're searching all cars.
Huh? You have to speak up, mister.
I said we're searching all cars for an escaped convict.
Escaped convict? I
Yeah.
ain't seen him. Now, step aside. My old woman's been expecting me since sundown.
Well, that's too bad, Pop. We've got other plans for you.
Huh? I didn't catch what you said.
See if you can catch this. All right, Missouri.
No, don't.
Good work. That takes care of him.
What are we going to do with him now?
Take any money he's got and tumble him into the bushes. And then we'll ride the rest of the way to Deep Valley to pay a surprise visit to my old Ma and dear brother Tom.
Well, Doc, how is she?
Well, she's 70, Tom. That's all that's ailing her. Anything fretting her, anything on her mind?
She's pining to see Harry, I reckon.
Harry?
Yeah, my brother, 5 years younger. Kind of a pet of Ma's. Every year about this time, she gets a notion he'll be coming home for a visit. Makes her upset.
Well, then that's why she's not eating or sleeping. Would help her a lot if your brother Harry could pay her a visit.
Yeah, well, I expect that ain't possible.
No? Dead?
Not exactly. Locked up.
Oh.
Stone Mountain Penitentiary. Robbery. Been in there 4 years.
Yeah. Your ma don't know?
No, I kept it from her. Afraid it might kill her.
Well, I expect you're right, Tom. Shock like that might finish her off.
Yeah. See, Harry Tatum went off to the city 10 years ago.
Yeah?
Got in with a gang of some kind, got into trouble with the law. Only time he come back here to see Ma is when he had to hide out for a while.
Oh, I see. Well, try to keep her from fretting, Tom. But there is another thing.
Yeah, Doc?
She shouldn't be staying in this cabin, and neither should you. She should be down to town where she can get looked after better. Besides, the way the river is undercutting the banks, this cabin's going to topple right into it someday.
Yeah, Big Rocky's eating this way fast, all right. But Ma won't move, not until she sees Harry again.
Yeah, try and persuade her, Tom.
All right, I'll try, but it ain't much use. She's afeard does she move, Harry will come back here for a visit and not be able to find her.
Tom? Tom?
There she is now. I better go on in.
All right, Tom. Night.